RWP is brought to you by Porch Beer Entertainment.
I did this. I was here. I was ready. I had a terrible park job. I don't know if you saw my car.
I did. I was like, Ben's here.
I like to do that. It's my way of fighting back against this community and the way parking works here. So my way, because I'm not actually obstructing anything. Like I'm not in anybody's way. I'm not blocking anything. I'm not really technically doing anything illegal.
Just looks bad.
It looks terrible. Like I look like a moron. And there was a guy that actually saw me park like that. And like
I really hope you would have walked up and just slapped you right.
I walked really, really fast to make sure I was away from him.
Why don't you come after you like, hey, buddy, come here.
It was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly.
Can you turn me up a tiny bit, my headphones?
Yes, I actually have our headphones turned down.
When are you gonna use the new multi-mix here, man?
Working on it. No,
you're not. No, you're not.
We should be up and running.
No video clips have been up in
video
weeks?
clips. Actually, I've got a special project I'm working on with the video clips.
Yeah, okay.
No, I do. I have a special project.
Is this your special project?
No. That's whoa. Everyone, did you see that on camera? Because I put this up.
Sorry, dude. It's
part of the special project.
Long day.
So tell me about what happened with your tie, and then I have a story to tell you about my work.
So,
like, what did you spill on it?
Pasta sauce. So, there's an inherent risk you bring when you try to eat spaghetti-type products at work.
There's so much.
It was a calculated risk, right? But
because those are moving noodles. They're moving. There's sauce
not even
on
that.
them.
Like the way you puncture, so it was penne pasta this time. If you like twist the fork weird, it splatters like.
Now penne seems like something that is weird that you would still experience that, because spaghetti, I get it. That thing's flopping all over the place.
And I've done that with spaghetti. Don't get me wrong, but there's a calculated risk. So this whole week has been really crazy, and like a lot of crazy stuff's happening. We've had to I it was like kind of like, you know, like the satisfaction you feel when you send like a professional email, but a way of saying like you.
Oh, 100%. There's an art to that.
Yeah, I did that on 2 conferences in 2 meetings. I was like, I looked over at the contractor's like higher level PM. Yeah. And me being I'm sort of like a PM.
Sure.
I'm almost a full PM, but I was like,
which is nighttime. AM is morning time.
I was like, no. I was like, we're not doing any of that. We're doing this.
Ooh.
And this is what we're doing. And they're like, oh, okay. And then like, what about this? I was like, absolutely not. And I said that. I was like, we're going with this.
Wow.
This is how we're going to do it.
You laid it down on the table.
I literally said, this is your job to do blank. Yeah. I said, that is your job. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. Otherwise, we wouldn't be paying you to do this work.
That's true.
And I went off today, but
wow. Look at you, man. Spunky. Dude, do they call you Spunky?
No, they call me Roadhouse.
Right,
yeah.
Right. We talked about that.
Now. Yeah.
I think they should call you Spunky.
Spunky, yeah.
That's my suggestion.
So I was eating pasta, and this is like, thank God we're almost through the week. We have one more big meeting tomorrow.
See, and then how can anybody respect you? They're like, this guy's yelling at me, and then meanwhile he's spilling pasta on his tie.
Well, yeah, and so I it felt it happen. I made contact with the outside of the noodle, did not puncture it because it's a plastic fork, and boom, and I flicked the piece of pasta out
a full flick
out of the pasta, out of the container. Hit the tie, rolled down the tie. Luckily, so the tie acted as a barrier.
Yeah.
And it
because you got a white shirt on.
It deflected the pasta away from me.
Wow. It's sacrificed its tie life.
It did. And I looked down at it and I was like, oh no. And the funny part is, so I inherited a what just happened?
Nothing.
The sound just cut
something
off.
fell. Nothing. No, you're fine.
I inherited a bag of ties from an old PM I had.
An old prospector.
Yeah, an older I guess he used to be like my manager when I was a contractor, and he was leaving the program, and he was like, hey, buddy, here's a bag of ties. The dude also is 6'8", about like 240, so his ties are all extra long ties.
Yeah, so they're going like way down past the crotch.
No matter how I tied it, it literally looked like a loincloth on me. So like that was all I had left, so I was like, you know what? Today, for the first time in years, I'm going to go tieless to my next meeting, and I'm going to be the bad boy. the bad boy of the department.
There's nothing wrong with that.
The young gun walking into the meeting, laying down the law, and that's when I did lay down the law for the second time. I did it the day before with the tie on.
They're like, this guy's yelling at me. He doesn't even have a tie on. How am I supposed to trust him?
It's like a hotshot, young
No,
hotshot.
you look like a young hotshot right now. You look like you don't look like you're in government work. You look like you're like a sales guy. You look like a sales guy right now. Like, hey, I'm here to sell you 50 planes. And
I'm not leaving until you buy these planes.
Yeah, there's a lot of sales techniques, which I don't employ
you know what?
in my job.
I am reading a book. Actually, I'm listening to an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's by one of the FBI's top hostage negotiators, and it's basically about negotiation. So half of my job is negotiating millions of dollars to get contracts settled.
Key rule of negotiation: don't be the first to talk.
I love. I want to say Michael Scott.
You just sit down.
Yeah, you stare at him. And so it lays out all this stuff. So I'm listening to this and I'm like, all right, I got to start using all these techniques.
I've got a technique as well.
What's your negotiation technique? What's your go-to negotiation technique?
Well, in my real technique is I'm just like really, really nice, and I'm very I'm very I tell it to them straight. Like, I don't BS. I'm just like, look, you can do this or not. It's not going to affect my life whatsoever. If you want to do it, great. I can help you. If you don't want to do it, I'm not here to force you into doing it. And that's a great technique.
What the is that?
Another technique is you actually say their name a lot, and and like you, Salty Dalton. That's a great
you're
point.
Creating
Salty
connection
Dalton.
Here. Yeah,
you Salty Dalton, because it makes them feel better about themselves. They're like, oh, I feel important because this guy keeps calling me by my name. Besides,
one thing you do, label their emotions. Be like, hey, I understand you're.
Oh yeah, you do a lot of like, look, I've been there.
Yeah, you're frustrated, right? Yeah. It feels like you're frustrated. Yeah. And then you can use all this stuff, but I felt out of place. I felt like a different.
With hostage negotiation, it's like, look, I understand. Like, I've been there. I've almost cut a guy's head off before too.
I've taken hostiges before.
Yeah, look,
this isn't my first rodeo.
Look, I know how you're feeling right now.
How do you think I got here? I negotiated my way to the top.
I know how you're feeling. You know, you've got this guy.
I've got a hostage right now too.
Yeah, they're in my trunk. Oh God. Okay, I mentioned it.
But I felt like a different version of myself. Sort of like you've what's a good way to kind of like when you have like a game character or something, and then you customize them by like swapping the outfits or the skins that they're wearing.
The skins.
It was like here's like Hotshot Dalton, and this is me being like
flying off the handle.
Yeah, just like in charge of my own regime kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting week at work, and I'm really glad that the week is almost over.
I had an interesting moment. And I
you texted me about this, and I
thought
and I had to ask because this.
Sure.
I mean, listen, man, you can be honest, but this is something that's very hard to come back from.
I've had two pretty embarrassing moments at this job. One, and I talked about one on this show, where I had gone to the bathroom and then came back, and there was still the remaining kind of pee spot on my pants, and then I had walked into the room of our two marketing girls at the time, stood there, had a full conversation with them.
I zoned out, I'm not going to lie, when I was listening to you, and I heard I peed my pants.
No. I had that moment where I had the pee spot on my pants. Yeah, we talked about that, but this moment was a little different because, we all, occasionally you get a scratch in your nose. And, we're human beings here, so you may have to go scratch inside your nose. And, it's not ideal.
Not pick, per se.
No.
Sometimes there's actually an itch.
It was a scratch. It was an itch. It was an itch. And I was investigating the issue, and then I look over to my right, and standing in the doorway is our brand new intern. She had started that week. And she was there with a note for me. Somebody had called in, and it was for me. And it was kind of one of those moments where, that she saw what happened, and and she knows that that she saw what happened. And what had happened was she had walked in, and my finger was in my nose.
Yeah.
And
how was that? Was it how long was the?
It was awkward for a moment because I had kind of looked over, and I had almost like the finger in the nose while I was looking over, and I was just like,
okay. So did they open was the door closed, or did they just walk in?
The door was open.
Doors open and you did this?
Doors
you didn't
open.
check your surroundings?
Well, I'm in the back corner of the office, so,
Okay, so
I hear people when they walk.
So is this intern new? Very new?
She's very new this week.
Okay, so I'm the intern and I walk in.
Yeah.
And so how long is your finger in your nose?
Like,
hey, Ben, can I just...
So here's the problem. I don't know how long she was standing there because it seemed to be a little while. And she was silent. So here's the thing. If somebody was walking down the hall, I would have been able to hear them and then, remove finger from said nose. No problem. It would be fine. The problem was she was completely silent. She's a very tiny girl. So she made no noise whatsoever. She made no noise when she was standing in the open doorway. And then so I don't know how long she had seen what was happening.
So were you just really rooting around in there?
I wouldn't say really rooting.
So if your finger is in your nose, okay, maybe you could play it off as like a funny joke. But like if it was in there for a while, like
I don't know if that's the problem. I don't know how long it was, but it was awkward because like it was very much like me trying to cover it up, just kind of like, oh, hey. She was like, oh, I have a message for you, and then she like walked over and handed me a sticky note, and I was like, oh, okay. And then she
is that you playing it off? Because that is such a weird. That makes me uncomfortable, and I'm used to seeing you sitting across from you.
And then she like read the message to me, and then handed the note to me.
It's not like a voice assist. Like, read it to me.
Well, I didn't ask her to.
Look me in the eyes and read it to me while I pick my nose.
I didn't ask her to do any of this. She handed me the note. She walked out, and I immediately texted you. Like the intern just walked in on me scratching the inside of my nose. And the problem is like you said, you can't come back from that. It's just like in not high school, just like in elementary school. Like if you're caught picking your nose in elementary school, like you're done. Your reputation's tarnished. Like you're forever going to be known as, oh yeah,
like
that's
booger
the guy.
Hands, yeah,
exactly. Booger hands, mucus Matt. If your name's Matt, it really only works if your name's Matt.
Yeah.
Or
it's
mucus.
A very specific.
Mucus
situation.
Marshall. That's like a pretty. Good
yeah.
one.
Other M names, I guess.
Yeah.
Molly. I'm sure. Why
mucus
not?
Molly. Yeah.
Matthias.
Matthias.
Mordecai.
Yeah, Mordecai. Those were a lot of kids I went to school with. But it's very hard to come back from that.
It is. I mean, because like it's one of those things too that everybody does it.
Yeah, of course.
But like it's one of those things where honestly, like things more acceptable, I think, socially to do in public or be caught doing, picking a wedgie is way less bad. Like, cause it's like everything is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Your fly down, you can come back from that.
As you've experienced.
But when you are when your finger's up in there and someone sees you, there's something so intimate about that.
Yeah, there's a stigma around the nose.
There is
the nose.
So
which is weird because, like you said,
I feel like she's always going to refer to you, like in her mind, how she classifies you. She's like, oh, that's Bob with the receding hairline.
Yep.
That's Laura.
Yep,
she
that's
talks
Laura.
in a really high pitched voice. And there's Ben who picks his nose. He's a grown man who picks his nose.
Oh God, I
and
can't have that reputation.
That's you. To her.
God, what if she's not going to spread that around. She doesn't really know anybody.
She might. Because guess what? That right there, for a new person, that's her gold ticket. That's her Willy Wonka bar. She's going to take that all the way to the bank. She's going to be like, hey, I know I'm new, but I saw something the other day. It's a piece of drama. It's a piece of gossip. It gets her foot in the door.
Damn, I was the device.
You allowed her that leverage. You are now her stepping stone.
Damn, we had one intern. His name was Todd. And he was known
Do your
around the
interns
office.
just leave after a while? Is this a college credit
it's
kind
college
of thing?
credit, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So for a
I thought
semester.
this is like maybe they're just really bad interns.
No, yeah, we keep firing up. No, we had an intern named Todd who was known around the office as Hot Todd because he was like this young, like good-looking intern. And the problem is like that made me and the other guys kind of like angry because like we wanted to be
Hot Todd,
hot guys in the office, and this young buck comes in. He wasn't even that hot. Like he was attractive, but he wasn't that hot. But
scale of 1 to 10.
The satisfaction, probably a solid 7.5.
7.5.
Skinny, tall.
Okay.
Had kind of the wavy hair.
Is there? But like, what about okay? So 7.5. But work environment wise, did he like clean up nice?
Oh, I guess. I don't know what he actually did.
I feel like that's a modifier. So kind of like how like alcohol modifies your score. I feel like wearing certain clothes.
Yeah, he dressed nice. I think he was kind of wealthy. I think he was well off. So he had nice clothes.
So he might be like an 8.5 in the workplace.
Ooh, you're right.
7.5 out of the workplace. Yeah. Money, add another 0.5 on top of that.
And then
he's rolling in there at about a 9 when he should be resting around a 7.
I wonder what I'm at. Probably a 2. But on his last day,
at least a 2.5.
On his last day, he and I played ping pong, and like
Did you just
bunch
crush him?
Well, here's the problem: a bunch of girls like watched it.
Oh, you had to go. You had to
And
turn on the jets.
and it was like his last day, and like so these girls were all watching. Oh, Hot Todd's playing ping pong. They didn't say that out loud. They just called him Todd.
Oh, it's Hot Todd. Hot Toddy.
And then we played ping pong, and I beat him like we played to 11. I beat him like 11-1.
What would be great is like
I
if
felt
you're
really
just
bad.
sweating profusely, but
Yeah.
you have like a headband on, and you're looking at him like, yeah, sup, bitch. Like you challenged the wrong person today.
Dude, I felt
Hot Todd?
I felt kind of bad, and like I talked to Ricky after. He's like, "Yeah, man, you could have just let him win. It was his last day, and he was trying to just like impress."
You needed to take
I was
this.
like, I can't do that. It's not in my DNA to let somebody win. Like even when Abby and I will play games, like,
honestly, yeah, me.
I can't really like. I'll let like maybe a point or two, but I can't. Like they have to earn it.
Yes,
Like
I'm big on that
can't-
too, especially like when we were coaching and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just let. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like
can't.
there are times where you can go easy enough where they get the concept and stuff, and that's only if like if you're clearly like one person's never
Yeah.
done this before in your life. There are different levels you play at, but like if someone like has a general understanding of it, it's like it would be weird if you went easy.
And it's so dumb, but it's so dumb because like even with like Abby, we'll play ping pong or like or we'll like shoot around basketball, and like I can't just let her win. And she's like, you could just like you could just let me win. Like it's not going to take anything away from you. I'm not going to think less of you. Like just let me win. Like let's play.
My dad tried. So it was. I think I specifically remember him like doing this is like. And I'll probably emulate this. It's just
Sure.
like, once like I started learning and stuff, and like I'm like an 8-year-old kid. He's a
Yeah.
grown man. He could very easily win at
Oh,
almost
100%.
all these things. But like whenever it got down to like the final points of it, he would like pretty much be like, now this is what it's like serious. And it would be so hard. I remember playing basketball
Yeah.
and like it would be on the shorter hoop and stuff. And like
yeah.
I would do this like move or something. I'd try to go up and then like he would come over top and just smack it away. And he would make sure, and so it was like a really, really big deal the first time I beat him when he was
it's a
going.
huge deal. When you beat your dad in something, it's a huge deal.
It's just as tough for them too, because
Yeah.
that's like a passing the mantle almost. Because like
I don't
it's
know
that
when that's
one
gonna
time.
happen.
It's that one time where like they're out of their prime. You're
Yeah.
just coming up, but it's like you both can play competitively for a little bit until you get that first win. And I remember the first time I beat my dad in like in one-on-one in the YMCA.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
he was like, you did it. And he's like, okay.
And he just like walks away and then just drives away, and you're like,
Yeah, he
he
left me
never
there.
comes back.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like it's going to be a very interesting day for me one day if I do have a son. And like because here's the thing is like I'm not gonna let him beat me for a very long time.
Absolutely
even when he's like a
not.
little baby and we've got a little mini hoop in the like kitchen or wherever. Like he's gonna be like just trying to dunk it, and I'm gonna swat it away and just be like, don't bring that trash in here.
Yeah, sometimes I mean, it's about like them understanding their position here.
Yeah. You are at the bottom. I'm at the peak athletic performance.
It's
so
like, yeah, it's cute. We'll play around for a little bit, but
What do
like,
you want me to
You
do?
want to enter the dojo?
Yeah.
You have to be prepared to take the pain.
you come at the king, you best not miss. as
Yeah,
they
that's
say.
right, yeah.
It's from The Wire.
Yeah, you play the big dogs.
yeah.
Get
So
off the porch.
what's the thing we're doing to start this thing?
We are doing
It's a
joke.
Joke. Yeah, dad joke. And
Dad
then we
joke.
do a phrase later.
A phrase later.
Okay,
yeah.
let's
I
do
think
it.
I still have the dad joke generator
right.
up here.
Let's.
That last one is like super sexual. Remember?
Yeah, it was. I liked it, but yeah. What do you got? All right, he's gonna say the joke, and then we're gonna start this show.
Why was the broom late for work?
What was the wait? Hold on. Don't say the answer.
Okay.
I'm going to try to guess.
Why was the broom late for work?
Something to do with like sweep.
It overswept.
Oh, okay. You didn't let me. Fine. Okay, let's start the show.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yet I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the other. I've seen a lot of strange stuff.
Arise, fighters of Theoden! Spears shall be shaken! Shields shall be splintered! A sword day! A red day! And the sun rises!
broadcasting from the porch or the basement or whatever realm hasn't banished them yet. It's the Random Word Podcast with your hosts, Ben and Salty Dalton.
Now introducing, in the ring, standing 5'11", weighing a hostile 195 pounds.
If only.
Benjamin
If
the
only.
Machine Simpson.
We were just talking about this.
Bow.
I don't think I've been under 200 pounds. Yeah, since the third grade, because I think I weighed in at around like maybe 215 in like 7th grade.
You got down during the peak of the Ben formation. You were a lean, mean fighting machine.
I was at about 219.
You were like cut turkey.
We're working on that, but by just not eating. That's the solution. No.
Welcome in to the Random Word Podcast with Ben behind the mic and yours truly, Salty Dalton, the true host of the show. We're kind of swapping the intro roles for this season.
Sure.
I only do the first tiny little part because I don't really know what else goes on here.
And we'll be introducing a new intro for next season. We'll have some new things in place
next
as well.
Season?
Yeah,
is that when that's timestamp?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I feel like we could probably knock that out.
We'll see. I'll check my schedule. I'll check my calendar. This is the Random Word Podcast, episode number 36.
Yeah.
Right? And again, you can find us on social media on Instagram at the Random Word Podcast, and then email us the Random Word Blog at gmail.com. Again, that's the Random Word Blog
at gmail.com.
Gmail.com. We do have plenty of emails, including a late addition to Do's and Don'ts that we'll read later. But we do have some of the usual suspects here. Sponsors. We've got Salty Dalton's Incredible Brain Explosion Full Body Learning Experience, Fishbowl, Pilot House, Do's and Don'ts, and rounding things out, Call Center. Do look out for it next week. I'm not going to tell you exactly what we're doing yet. We'll tease it. Next week, we're going to do a special edition of this show. We've done some things in the past. We've done the Game Cast. We've done Pat Cast. We've done Goose Cast. We've done different things over the course of the show. We're going to do something special again next week, so be sure to download next week's. Download this week's, too, because we are like 20 downloads away.
Random Word Podcast.
We're 20 away from 2,000. We are so close.
Yeah.
I kind of was hoping we'd be there by now, last episode.
It's not a lot compared to, like, very popular podcasts. I'm sure they sniff 2,000 an episode.
Yeah, but we're idiots. We're nobodies.
Yeah, this started at absolutely nothing.
No, we're morons.
This is a big milestone for us.
Yeah, this is the bacon.
We'll probably celebrate by stopping the show.
2,000, bringing home the bacon.
2,000.
I heard Ashley giving you some crap about
so right before I went downstairs, I said, well, time to bring home the bacon.
Yeah.
And she said, you can't call it that. And I was like, why? And she's like, because you don't make any money from this. And I was like, I will one day, baby.
Yeah.
We
make money off the patents for our inventions, our fishbowl inventions.
Yeah,
so.
we're just really hoping that everyone else takes these ideas and then at least just gives us a kickback. I'm talking like 2-3%. That's all we need.
Yeah, that's all we need. So feel free to send us money.
If you'd like to sponsor this show, we do have a Venmo set up. So please send your inquiries to the Random Word Blog at gmail.com.
Sure.
And we will give out our Venmo information, and you can give us a monthly stipend of at least $5.
And if you want to just send us money, you can just mail it also to the randomwordblog at gmail.com.
You know what we should do is we should do a an auction. What do you call it? Almost like a silent auction, a raffle.
A raffle?
Okay. A raffle where, like, if you like and share the status, we'll pick
What's
a random
the giveaway. They come on the show.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they either come on the show or we send them a picture that we sign that has something stupid on it, or we go out and do something and like take them evidence of it, or take them with us or something like that. I think that would be interesting.
Okay.
And it'd be great because like it will literally be easy to pick out of 4 people.
Yeah. Now we could also
it'd be like you have 4 likes and 1 share.
Like they could win a custom Random Word Podcast T-shirt.
Yeah, we can make custom T-shirts.
We've made a few of those so far. Okay. Well, that's not a bad idea for the like 10 people that listen to this show and just download it. They download it. It's a way to
give back to
1,000 times.
You know.
Let's also. Oh wait, what am I talking about? I was almost going to sponsors. I totally forgot about the whole point of the show and kind of what we do here.
Also, I scared somebody. So you know, so we don't have any windows on the door. You badge in to get to these doors and stuff in our office, and I happen to be. So I've done this to a few different people, and I've actually hit before an officer in the face with the door because like he's standing right in front of it.
Yeah, idiot.
You gotta stand to the side.
I've done that before.
You put in your door. So we badge, we put in our code and do whatever. And I was pulling at the exact same time this lady was pushing, and she goes, ah, ah! That exact noise when she saw me, and it scared her so bad, and I didn't know what to do, so I just said sorry. And I walked away.
That's all you can do. Because here's the thing: bodies do interesting things when you're in that situation.
Like
I've been there too.
She locked up, made that noise, and like just looked at me in terror, and I was like,
when that happens to me, I'm always like about to fall over. Like
if you're putting a lot of weight on there too, because like all that resistance gone, but like it happened as she was pulling. I was just slightly making it easier for her, and then we almost ran into each other. But I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Did she
lady.
say anything besides that noise?
She made that noise, didn't say anything, and I just kept on keeping on.
Yeah, I've done the door because we have one of those things. I've done that with our bathroom doors in the hallway of our office before too, where like it's one of those doors.
Bathroom doors are the worst.
You just don't know what's going to happen.
They like
there.
fall into your arms, and you're like, "Hello."
Yeah, well, it's
Would you like to use the restroom with me?
Oh, I don't really approach it like that. With
hey,
the men in my
is
office.
Is it me, yo?
I did have real quick. We did have some AC guys, like building people, come in.
Your eyes. Yeah,
and they like were fixing the AC in like my the VP's room, which is next to my office, and then. He was gone, and then they like the building inspector guy comes in my room. He's like, so Andy's out of the office right now, but I'll just kind of tell you what we did. And he goes on to describe like using the most terminology and like inside information that he's like, first we took the snake hose and then we detached it from the C valve and then we actually reattached it to the Z valve.
Did you look like a maintenance worker? Is that why he felt a kinship?
No, I was just sitting there like working on my computer, and he's like, and then now we've got we've got the CAD adapter running at about a 5% difference, and then we're running this stuff. So just let him know when he comes back that we did all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Oh, you use the snake adapter. He's like, oh yeah, we use the snake adapter with the P valve. And it was just one of those moments.
They probably needed the snake watch.
Well, speaking of the building inspector people, that sheet is one that I picked up and I'm pretty sure it's from the building operators. Now, maybe we'll get to that in a little bit, because first we got to get to the word here. That's the whole reason why
this has been an extra long intro.
Yeah, so we'll just rush through this here. Actually, we don't need to give the word. No, just kidding. Here's the word, people.
Your word is. Your word is.
Grimalkin. It's
Grindelwald?
Grimalkin. So Grimam.
Evgeny Malkin?
Grimalkin.
Grimalkin. It's right next to Bulgaria.
Let me continue spelling it, because you interrupted me in the middle of spelling it.
Sure.
Gri. Thank you, guys. Please stop. Terrence, buddy, please. Hey, buddy, love you, man. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Grimalkin. Grimalkin.
Jesus Christ.
Or maybe Grimalkin if you're saying it fast.
What does it mean? We have mispronounced words on the show before.
It's a noun, and it means a domestic cat, especially an old female cat.
The
It's another f***ing word for cat. Grimalkin. That sounds like a space alien.
Grimalkin.
The Grimalkins have invaded the bulkhead.
Yeah.
Bring us your
so
children.
So it's an inside cat, because that's what you really quantify with cats. It's like,
a domestic cat.
Do you have an outdoor cat or an inside cat?
So, like, I guess you could say that the terminology we say crazy old cat lady. Mm-hmm. We classify older women who aren't married by owning a very large number of Grimalkins.
Jeez. Yeah, it was one of those things.
And like the example sentence for this was like ancient Egyptians showed very high reverence and worshipped Grimalkins. And I was like, what the is that?
I've never heard Grimalkin. It does sound like a country that's next to Bulgaria and
that's
Algeria. Yeah. Oh, the
Grimalkin.
The Grimalkins. Oh, that mountain range.
The Soviet Grimalkin.
But that because
we domesticate.
What it makes me think of is the fact that if you have a cat, you either quantify it as an indoor and outdoor cat.
Yes.
Now an indoor cat, self-explanatory. It can never go outside. But then we had a neighbor that had an outdoor cat. And that cat would go all over the entire neighborhood.
It's crazy too, because like cats are very interesting to me. So I grew up with 4 of them.
True.
I know you grew up with a few.
Yep. Absolutely.
At least 2, right?
Yep.
2 or 3.
2 at a time.
Yeah. And so we had 4 running at once and 2 dogs, but like we had 3
like a petting zoo.
3 outdoor cats, 1 indoor cat. Never sniffed outside. Like If it went outside, it
I
was,
like
it
to
was
think
because
that you
it
guys,
got lost.
You guys like let them make that decision.
Yeah.
You're kind of just
I
like,
mean, like-
the door's open, pal. Do you want to be an indoor or an
what's weird is,
outdoor?
like-
Make your choice.
and once they've been there long enough and they enjoy the house, like it's weird because like they're super self-sufficient.
Yeah.
They poop in a box.
Yep.
And that's instinctual.
Yep.
Like you don't teach them that.
Yeah,
They
you really don't.
They go find it.
It takes
and
them
they do
very
that.
quickly to learn that. Like it's not like dog
It's
training
just a
and all
thing
that
that
stuff.
they do. Like
Yeah.
they're just in nature. Like that's what they do.
Yeah.
And they also are just like crazy. Like they'll disappear for hours,
Mm-hmm. For days.
and days, and then
they'll
come
appear.
back with just dead animals, being like, "Yeah, that was a great hunt."
Yeah, that
and like
was
they're
awesome.
out there living on the land.
Howling at the moon.
They come in, they get pets, they get food, and they're like, "Cool, let's recharge, refill. Let's head back out."
They're like a weird uncle.
Yeah.
That just like disappears for periods of times, and he's like out there in the swamps and stuff, and he's catching gators and shooting gators and doing weird things with
Comes
gators.
back in, says
And
hey to the family.
Comes
Yeah.
back, drinks a couple beers.
Maybe he gives you like a weird gator skull as a gift.
He's like, here, I made this for you. And then
Yeah.
he's like, take another trip down to Louisiana, down to the bayou. No, they're interesting animals. So we always had indoor cats. We never let our cats outdoor. But again,
I mean, there's
our
a trust
neighbor
level
were
you need there
outdoor
because
cats.
like you're nothing's stopping your cat besides, and sometimes I know that maybe they can't make it out there all the way on their own.
Sure,
But like
sure.
nothing's stopping them from just keeping walking.
Did you see? There was a very dumb
Keep
movie.
a Christopher Walken in.
There was a very
You
dumb
gotta
movie.
know that with your cat.
Christopher Walken's actually.
Walken.
Remember that's how you pronounce
yes.
it.
The multiple versions.
There was a movie a movie that came out recently. It was called like The Long Way Home.
Was it called House Cat?
It wasn't called House Cat, but it
Are
was.
you talking Homeward Bound?
No. No, it's recent. Like it was called like The Long Way Home, and it was about a dog.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
like,
Okay, yeah.
That dog. Okay, so the trailer, if you haven't seen this, literally the dog runs out the backyard chasing something. Next thing you know,
Ends up in
it's
Czechoslovakia.
like 4 states over. And then has to like find its way back home, and it runs into like a puma, and then like this
So
thing.
what's
You're
hard-
like, but all it did was run out chasing
What's
a
hard
squirrel.
to believe about that is like, okay, they have a great sense of smell and stuff like that, but also like, so I read somewhere like when you're trying to chase a cat,
Yeah.
so like they're not meant for like, they're good for short bursts of speed type hunters. Like,
Yeah, like
all you have to
dwarves.
do is you just walk.
Yeah.
You just keep walking after it. It'll keep running. Guess what? It gets tired and it just kind of falls over
Oh yeah,
because like it just.
but the dog.
It's very unbelievable that a dog
Dogs are-
travels 82 miles on
82, more like 800.
Yeah.
It was insane. It's
It
like
ends up like 6 states over, and you're like, well, gee, yeah, I guess that stick wasn't in that bush
At
8
least with-
states away.
At least with Homeward Bound, there was like a reason that they were so far away, or they were
And like
traveling
also
and
like,
stuff like
and
that.
I get that, and they're like, granted they could talk,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
that was the best part of the
And that
movie.
was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
But like, also like, how did they couldn't pick
I
up
like
the
it
sense
too
like
because-
they were driving, so it's not like there's a giant like cartoon scent
the best
cloud
part
you
with
follow
Homeward
with your
Bound
nose.
was like they could talk, but like it's not like they like moved the animal's mouths to make
No,
it
it
look
was,
like
it was
it was
telepathic.
literally the animal was just like mouth silent, just like looking at a bird, and they'd be like, "Oh well, Sharon, we're going this way," and it would be like, "Well,
sassy.
yeah, sassy." God, yeah. Remember, like
Sassy.
a lot of stuff happened.
Remember
in that movie.
when was this, it wasn't Champ, the old golden retriever. Remember when you thought he died?
Yep.
And he came walking out of like the tree line,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Come on!"
God, that was like it was like a Lord of the Rings like
That was a high
final battle
oh my
moment
God.
right
It was
there.
just like,
That's
oh,
a great
yeah.
movie. Homeward Bound's a great movie.
It was a fantastic movie. I had nothing wrong against the movie. It's just
No.
like some of these other ones. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, the dog, but like, the dog's not going to end up 6 states over.
No.
Someone
It's
has
gonna
got
die.
to have seen that.
It's gonna
dog.
be dead
yeah,
by that
it's,
point.
There's no way.
There's just no way.
There's no way
can't
it
live.
loses track of time, being like, "Oh, I'm sniffing the ground. What's this? Canada?"
Does Chelsea still have the fat cat?
Yeah, Onyx. Yeah,
It's still
Oh my
kicking.
God, dude, Onyx.
How old is that cat?
He's probably like 15, 16 now.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
something like that. I don't know. I got to see him again, and he like was super excited to see me. And he does this stuff where like crawls, and he likes to hang on. He kind of hangs like a mink scarf would. It's like a denim, like just kind of hangs on you. And he is so heavy, man. I was like, I can't do this.
Onyx, fat cat. Fat cats
He
are
used to
fun.
be an apex predator.
Yeah.
Every time I look at him, and I tell Chelsea all the time,
He's
I'm
past
like,
his prime.
I'm
man.
like, you remember what he used
He's
to
a
be?
retired linebacker.
This guy was the most feared cat in like our small area of Reston. Like he single-handedly killed probably over like 200 birds.
Man, that's a hell of a.
Like he got tattoos every single time on his
Yeah,
belly.
yeah, of course, yeah. And it's like
It's like the teardrops for the bloods, yeah.
It's like X's for each bird that
One
was
of
killed.
one of our cats did run into a fox. Fought a fox.
Whoa.
Yeah, we found it underneath this like, kind of like not underneath. It's like this overhang of a window out in front of our house, and it had a chunk taken out of its paw. Part of its ear was missing, and like it was all grizzled and
The
stuff.
cat or the fox?
The cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it like fought off this fox that tried
Damn.
to eat it. Yeah, it was crazy.
I like that.
It was crazy, man.
Man, cats are wild animals.
yeah.
So what's the word again? Grimalkin.
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 It's either Grimalkin or Grimalkin.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you can pronounce
Who
that.
cares? That's who cares. That's the whole point of our show. That is the word. So we just probably taught you a new word here. Let's skip the sponsors because we don't want to have a 2-hour show here, and let's move.
You sure you don't want to do yours? I had to dig deep for the first one.
That is a funny sponsor.
I remember listening to it again, and I was like,
We'll run through that next week. Save those for
Okay.
next week. We'll be actually doing something special. Whatever. Let's move on to a segment that has honestly been sweeping the nation, Salty Dalton. I have heard a lot of great things about this show. People are loving
oh, God.
Salty
that means I'm going to have to
Dalton.
actually start really vetting my
incredible
sources.
brain explosion, full body learning experience.
Hey, kids! Welcome into another installment of Salty Dalton's Incredible Brain Explosion Full Body Learning Experience, where I teach you things. So,
Right.
yeah, again, I'm.
And that's it?
If people really, because like I'm gonna actually have to start doing research on
No,
this
because
stuff.
like,
and like,
here's
this
the
is
thing:
gonna
you've been
suck.
doing some good
This is
work.
gonna
on
be
it.
like-
oh, this one bad?
No, I mean,
Oh,
like,
okay.
if I'm gonna have to keep doing this,
No,
I'm gonna
you
actually
have
have to
to.
be like, is this source valuable?
Yeah,
is this
you're
a
gonna
real
have-
thing? Is this or is this cracked.com?
You're gonna have to look through multiple sources. You're gonna have to go to the Library
Yeah.
of Congress, not just the library.
I'm really getting by on Wikipedia and articles and
Okay.
some top 10 lists
I
that
remember
I Google.
there was one day at my last job where me and there was a guy who was getting ready to quit. We spent at least 4 hours in a conference room looking through Wikipedia articles on Scientology for 4 hours.
You ever play that game on Wikipedia where you try to get to a word? You hit the random button on Wikipedia and then you have to try to get to something. Only navigating by links on
Because
the
it has
page.
the links on the page. That's
and so
kinda
you
cool.
have to find the subject that you draw randomly. Or
That's
something.
neat. I like that.
I
So-
think that's a kind of a cool game.
So with this segment, we've had some very interesting stories. Last week was about a couple of guys that had really, really bad luck.
So,
we've
yeah.
talked about actually some cats being looked
Murdered.
at as
Yeah.
as bad
Satanic
omens and-
instruments.
so what's on the docket for this version of
So
this episode?
it's been a long week, and last week we talked about some really unlucky people, and now we should talk about some lucky people.
Ooh, we should.
And you know what? In my research, I really relied heavily on just kind of a list that was already put together for me of
That's
like
smart.
recorded like very lucky people.
Sure.
You know who made it onto the lucky list was Tsutomu, the man who
Oh.
ran into both atomic bombs and survived.
you
and you
know-
can look at that either way. You could be like, that's a really like 2 days, or
Yeah.
he's super lucky because like not a lot of people can say that they survived two
Yeah, you can
nuclear
look
bombings.
at that as
Two
a,
of them.
as a city half full or half empty, depending
of
on
the
how much
only-
were killed by the bomb.
Both of the only bombs we've dropped on other people,
Yeah.
he has walked away from.
Tsutomu.
Might have limped, but he did walk away.
I love that story. I love
Yeah.
that story. So we're talking some lucky
We're
folks.
talking some lucky folks. And so one of the first ones I have here is probably going to be the bulk of it, and then we got another guy to follow up. So there's only 2 today.
Okay.
His name is Fran Salak. I don't.
Okay.
Again, I may be butchering this. He's Croatian.
Fran Salick.
Fran Salak. He might be Croatian.
Okay.
And he cheated death 7 times. So 7 times. So kind of like how Roy Williams got hit by lightning 7 times. This guy somehow just kept avoiding very fatal accidents. So it all starts in 1962. He's traveling on a train. The train itself flipped off the tracks and fell into a frozen river.
Oh my God.
So, and what happened is he's floating there, and tons of people are dying, and bystanders happened to fish him out, and all he had was a broken arm and some hypothermia.
So train flips, goes
Train
into
flips
frozen
into
river.
a frozen river and sinks. He gets
broken
fished out of the
arm.
river by some helpful folks.
Yeah.
And he crawls away, and he's pretty good to go.
but there were a lot of fatalities.
Yes, yeah, there were quite a lot of people that died. 1 year later, in 1963, on his very first plane ride, and probably his last, the plane randomly lost altitude and started plummeting towards the earth. He got sucked out of a malfunctioning plane door. He got ripped out of the airplane.
That's like a fear. Just
He got ripped out of an airplane and somehow landed on a f***ing haystack.
oh my
A
God.
haystack and
It's
lived.
like a cartoon.
And lived. And 19 people died on that crash.
Jeez.
He got sucked out of the door somehow and landed at speed in a haystack and walked away with just minor cuts and bruises.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
From the sky.
In the sky, yeah. And then a couple years later, 1966. This is a lot of this happened. There are 5 occurrences within 10 years.
Okay.
So about once every 2 years, he escapes death.
Yeah.
So the next one is 1966. A bus he was riding in swerved off this road and into a river. 4 died. He managed to swim to shore and never looked back. Survived. In 1970 and 1973, on 2 separate occasions, he was involved in 2 car crashes, resulting in the car catching fire while he is still inside of it. He managed to escape and crawl out of the car 2 times.
At this point, this guy's like, look, I can't even leave the house.
Well, no, it's either that or the man thinks he's invincible.
Then again, you're right. It could go the other way. It could be like, look,
nothing
no matter
can touch
what,
me. Imagine that confidence walking around, be like, "Hey, man, listen, nothing can touch me."
Wow, he probably did well with the ladies because it's like,
They got
oh
nothing
yeah,
to
me,
lose.
exactly.
He was supposed to die
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Wow.
So then there's a little quiet patch. So I'm pretty sure he laid low for a little while.
Sure.
Until 1995 when he was hit by a bus.
Of course.
Just completely leveled by a bus. Guess what? He was okay. He lived. He lived.
Of course
he
he did.
sustained some injuries, but he pulled through. And
Yeah, he's
then
France. He's not gonna die.
right after he recovered from being hit by a bus, in 1996, while driving, he avoided crashing into a United Nations bus that was coming his way. The details on the accident are,
Yeah.
I'm not sure whose fault it is, because you could make the argument that maybe he's a really driver.
True.
He's
Yeah.
been in a lot of car crashes.
Yeah, he's invincible. He drives really fast.
So
and-
it's a situation where there's a big United Nations bus headed his way. He's in a car. He's not going to win that battle, but he's trying to swerve to avoid it.
Yeah.
He hits a guardrail.
yeah.
Okay, and this guardrail is over this giant ravine that goes about 300 feet down. What happens is he hits the guardrail snaps.
Uh-huh.
The car plummets all the way to the bottom. He was not wearing his seatbelt. He gets thrown out of the car and lands. Where did he land?
Probably in a patch of
Yeah,
hay.
he was flung from the car just to safety, and the car launches through the guardrail, crashes 300 feet below.
Yeah.
Just
He would've died, yeah.
It's basically in any action movie, that's where the car goes, it blows
Yeah.
up.
If he had
at
been
the
wearing
bottom.
a seatbelt, he would have died. So
If
that's
he
a
had been
lesson
wearing-
you take away from
Yeah,
this, folks.
don't wear your seatbelt,
Yeah,
because
never.
he was flung out of his car, and he was okay. Like, that's insane. And then,
Oh my
and
God,
then-
there's more?
well, so that's 1996. So then, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cools it. I think at that point he was probably like 50 or 60 when that happened. In 2000, actually no, he's much younger. He's probably in his 40s.
Yeah.
In 2003, he's 73 now. He wins $1.1 million from the lottery.
Oh my God.
Now that has got to be just a way of like God being like, "My B, bro, like you weren't supposed to die," or maybe like I don't know.
But then again, you win that much money at 73.
Sure, I mean,
It's not a lot, you know.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what he did with it, but
Yeah.
like.
You just
I feel like
burned
that's
it all.
maybe is that just a way of like getting cash back? Like,
Had to
hey
have been.
man, you survived this far. Here's your. Maybe he's part of some game show that a bunch of
God.
like people were running.
That's wild. Because again,
He escaped death 7 times.
the first couple brushes, you're like, yeah, look, I've got this.
and I can
there's a lot
understand if
going
some
on.
of them are like the bus hit one. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay. I mean, like it's not instantly like, oh wait. Okay, sorry. I missed one other time that he
Oh,
almost
nice,
died.
of course.
1968. He was teaching his kid how to shoot a gun, and he shot himself in the nuts.
Oh.
He blew his nuts off and almost bled out.
Oh no! So maybe he wasn't able to.
The nuts didn't survive, but he did. So he was fine. He just didn't
Okay.
have any more.
He couldn't have
testicles.
any more kids or testicles.
Yeah, but like that's insane. I mean, like, and I can see some of them, like, okay, car accidents, like, okay, maybe it wasn't like a fatal crash, it caught on fire, sure.
Yeah.
When you get sucked out of a plane and thrown through the air from a plane into a haystack and live, what do you...
Again, that's a cartoon move right there.
That's
Laying
like
in a bed of
I was
hay.
safe. Yeah, don't worry, something broke my fall. It was like you were in a plane hurtling towards the ground, like Lost style, crashing into an island, and like 19 other people died on that.
At that point, yeah, I'm not surprised he won the lottery. I would have started playing the lottery pretty much immediately after like the third brush with death. It's like, oh yeah, I got some luck, and then you just start playing it, and then to end your life with that. I wonder how he died. Do you know that?
No, I don't actually.
Because that would be interesting if a man who survived
what
so
if they're,
much
like-
died at something very like.
What if it's like
insignificant.
something where like he went down to the crossroads and made a deal with the devil, and like he cannot die until the
still
devil
alive
takes
right
his
now.
soul
What's his
till
name
he
again?
completes it.
Franz.
It's it's Frane.
Probably Franz, but-
So
Frane.
Frane or Fran
Yeah, Frane.
Salak, Selak.
Frane Salak, the luckiest man in the world.
He's pretty freaking lucky.
Jesus.
And so we'd roll into our next man and our last guy to
Sure.
round out this full body brain explosion.
Oh, I'm
'Cause I don't know about you,
exploding.
but my brain has just splattered all over the back.
Oh,
of
I'm
here.
exploding.
Much like that dude's testicles.
Yeah.
That's a weird comment.
That's a rough one.
Leaving my mouth, that felt dirty.
Yeah, that's a rough one to have.
Um,
Out of all those things, I think that's the
Like,
worst
how do you-
one.
so he's teaching his kid how to use this gun,
Here's
and
what
the
you're gonna do.
safety's
First thing
off.
you're gonna do is aim it
Wait,
directly at
yeah,
your crotch.
These kids, like, they've got the earmuffs on. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, first rule of the range.
Point it down at your dick.
You point it downrange at your testicles. This is the safest position for the gun to be
Don't
in.
pull the trigger. Oh, God. Oh,
yeah.
and there goes one.
Who-
Oh,
I just wanna
there
know,
goes
like,
righty.
I get it. The safety wasn't on, but like that's like, or maybe it's like, all right, kid, you want to tuck it in
You
your
would
waist
think-
belt here, like an 80s gangster.
Now, I don't know that much about gun handling, but I'm pretty sure
Well, guess
one of
what?
the early
Unless-
rules is don't aim the barrel near anything else. Like anything.
Not even yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a general rule. Is you angle it away from everyone. You
Yeah.
don't point it at the boys and roll the
Oh,
dice there.
man. That's out of all those brushes with death, that's the one I'm most afraid of. Like, not happening, but
100%.
the most that I'm like,
yeah.
God, that would be the worst one out of them all.
Just like,
Yeah. You know how much that would hurt? And meanwhile, his son is just sitting there just like, Dad?
I'm trying to replay this in my mind. It's like, okay, the safety wasn't off. He's
Yeah.
teaching his kid how to properly fire a gun. There is no conceivable notion unless his kid was the one that actually shot him in the nuts and he took
True.
ownership over that. Like CSI, it's like,
I'd respect
look
him
at
for
the
that.
way the bullet entered
Yeah.
his genitals, and maybe you can recreate
Suddenly,
the
like,
firing
the
angle.
police are all like doing diagrams and like
Reopening the case.
The nuts were here. There's okay. Can you blow those up a little bit bigger? And there's the nut there. And then there's nut there, and then the angle of the ball. And where's the shaft? Where is the shaft in relation to what's
the thing.
happening?
There was a second shooter
Oh God,
on the grassy knoll.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
But
Just like imagine that, like 10 years later, like they're knocking on the door of his son.
Also-
Mr. Salak,
so the penis wasn't.
you've been
harmed.
served.
It was
Huh?
the balls. The penis wasn't harmed. So
yeah, I mean your penis still functions. The
I know.
testicles.
Well, I
really
know. I'm
just-
saying so. Like the penis wasn't in the way, so it wasn't like either. Maybe it was off to the side.
Well, you could say that, or maybe he wasn't gifted. You know.
That's true.
In
That's
that-
true. I mean,
But like either way, like to do that, to blow off your nuts and not hit anything else is also it's suspicious, is what it is.
son's like, is that how we're supposed to do it? Okay, I'll try to.
yeah.
No.
But
Okay.
so we moved to Bill Morgan. Bill Morgan
has both of his testicles.
he does. So I
Maybe.
believe
He's got 3 testicles.
as far as the sources dictate as far as the sources say, he does have his boys intact.
Okay.
So Bill Morgan was initially very unlucky. His car collided with a truck. He was crushed, and he was
He was just really upset. He was crushed.
yeah, he was like
"Oh,
super
man.
bummed about it. It was a nice
this
car, a lot of
sucks
memories.
So much. I loved that Miata.
So he was physically crushed by the car, severe injuries. He was actually dead for 14 minutes.
Jeez, that's a long time.
And unless they're performing constant CPR, like that's a long time
That's
to be
a-
down
yeah.
without suffering brain
To
damage.
be able to come back.
Lack
yeah.
of oxygen. It's just.
I feel like that happens within the first like 5 minutes. You can lose.
So he gets revived,
Uh-huh.
slips into a coma
Okay.
for 12 days. His family. This is the most awkward part. Pulls the plug.
Oh, of course.
His family pulled the plug.
I hated this guy. This is a great
he
excuse.
kept living,
Wow.
and then he woke up. Like, how do you have that conversation with a?
That's true.
Oh, Doris.
You definitely can't
like,
bring that up.
You can't, and you got to be like,
Yeah.
doctors
You gotta
don't.
t-
Hey,
But
hey,
we
get
know
it,
that it
get
happens,
Yeah, tell
so-
him what medication he needs to take. All this other stuff.
Yeah.
Don't mention we pulled the plug.
Let's see.
Let's just plug. Anyone say plug? Nothing.
Yeah,
There's no plug. Is that lamp plugged in?
Looking through the notes here, Mr. Morrison. So you were in a coma for these days, and then your family.
He said. Sorry.
What was that? Oh yeah.
Nothing. It was. He said that your lamp was unplugged, but we made sure that all plugs stayed in the socket the whole time.
No. We're talking about the plug. You guys.
Yeah. No. I know. We had a plug in the audience on the last live show taping.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing else that you need to worry about. There were no plugs that ever left any socket.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. What are you, an electrician here?
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes,
honey, you're
okay.
fine, honey. You're fine.
That's
Like, how do you
wild.
How do you talk about that?
You can't.
How do you talk about? How do you look at your like? And I get it. Maybe like they had this agreement, like, honey, if I'm ever brain dead, pull the plug.
I haven't had that conversation yet with.
Actually, I had that. I'm like, if I'm ever at the point where I'm like, you can't revive me and stuff like that, take my organs, use them for like 7 pounds, like Will Smith it.
Terry Schiavo it.
Yeah, whatever.
Remember that when that happened?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but
that was like 10 years ago. None of us know Terry Schiavo, but that's the first one that comes to mind.
Oh God, that was such a rough time.
For the Schiavo family,
Yeah,
yes.
it was,
Not for you.
No, but I
you
mean,
were like 16. God damn it, Terry.
But like, how do you? I would just look at them and be like, you technically tried to kill me.
Yeah.
You were like okay with that, and like.
Because that's the whole thing. So
but
here's the thing.
If he managed to wake up from that, there had to be some kind of signs of like,
he
could pull through. But it seemed like the family was like, what's the requisite amount of time we need to wait?
And here's the
7
thing.
days? Do it.
He can then ask for anything and get away with anything with the family the rest of his life because they'll be
Honey,
like,
I'm thinking about getting this new putter.
You're like, no, you shouldn't do that. You're like, hey, remember the time you tried to kill me? Yeah,
it's not in the budget.
I'm getting the putter.
Oh, you know what else isn't in the budget? Surviving.
My death.
Yeah, you bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially if it was like the wife.
Could you?
That creates a power imbalance that you can never recover from.
Think about it from like the kid's point of view, because also like once they pull the plug, the family says the tearful goodbyes. If it's like any show you've ever seen, or if you've actually witnessed this happening, which
I wouldn't call it a show. In
a lot of people have. Yeah, like it's
this
whole.
Is the greatest show.
Oh God, the greatest show.
Pulling the plugs from the wall. You don't have to cry it at all. He can't breathe anymore.
Sir, get out of the coma ward. He's just some guy on his own, just doing this one-man musical.
This is the greatest show.
The largest mass murder in history just occurred.
He's just running through, pulling plugs left and right. I'm pretty sure they don't just. It's not like
the serial killer called P.T. Barnum, the greatest show ever brought.
I don't think the
coma
plug
ward.
is just like lined up. Like it's not like plugged into like
no.
a wall outlet.
That would be such a weird point of failure.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh. Deborah's
you hear
dead.
that beeping? Yeah. What is that noise? That's so annoying.
But like, yeah, so like that's insane. That's insane to me. And like, you say the goodbyes, right?
Yeah.
Family leaves.
Yep.
He like a couple days later. I don't know how they didn't just move the body yet. He's just like, oh man, what a good sleep. Where's my family?
Hell of a nap.
And like, how long did it take to get to the body? Like, were they just like,
true.
We'll leave him
Were
here
the
an
hospital
extra 2
people
days?
like zipping up the bag?
He's like, no, stop, wait.
I'm here.
Yeah.
That is one of my biggest fears, honestly, is
waking
people
up in your
thinking,
own coffin.
Yeah, people thinking you're dead and you're not dead.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's like a big thing, especially coffin wise, because
before anyone puts
dirt is piled on you.
Before anyone puts me in any type of body bag, you were checking my pulse 8 times.
You can't get out of that. You do understand that. You're in the coffin. It's covered in dirt. The door is shut with dirt. You can't get out of there. Wasn't there a movie with?
Don't talk about it. This is making me anxious.
Wasn't there a movie Luke Wilson? He was like, or Owen was one of the Wilson brothers. They were like stuck in a coffin, and all they had was like a little lighter.
Oh
and, like,
my
that
God!
Was, like, the whole movie was like set in that or something like that.
Yeah, the most claustrophobic movie, no demand.
It's called like Buried, or I don't know. It was something pretty wild. That is so for this guy in particular. Again, it did give him leverage over all of his family.
He now has an instant trump card because like, and I don't know all the circumstances surrounding how I would love to. I might dig into that and look at like maybe see if they have
we
some
can do
hospital
a follow up to some of these. Yeah.
What the hospital charts say, because like how do you
hospital charts say dead? Nope, never mind.
You remove him off life support, but maybe he would just kept breathing. Yeah. And they're like, we don't know what to do with this.
That's also on like
because
the
like if they don't
staff too.
Yeah,
if
they don't die, then you can't touch them. You can't kill them. This isn't Kevorkian. Like you can't be like pillow on the face.
Yeah,
but like
I think he's breathing. No, he's not. No, he's not.
So like if you remove all sort of life support, like the breathing devices, if they keep going, like what they do, I think, is they have to leave them until it happens.
Yeah.
And so maybe it just didn't happen, and then he woke up and he was like, where are all the machines?
Yeah, and the family probably wasn't even there. He just like woke up. He's like, "Am I supposed to be here? Like, what's going on?"
So all that crap happens to him. It's terrible. I can't even imagine. So to celebrate the fact that he's still alive, he bought a scratch-off card.
Duh.
Won a car instantly.
Of course.
I think he's Australian too.
Of course.
So it's like, or a cash value of like 25,000.
Yeah.
I don't know what Australian dollars are.
I think it's just dollars. Maybe it's
Australian
the
dollars.
euros. I don't know.
And
That's Europe. I'm an idiot. Don't pay
so
attention to
and
me.
it's crazy, right? This whole story is crazy. So
Yeah.
the local news station got wind of this man who rose from the dead and was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we got to interview him." And he won a car walking out of the hospital. They interview him, and they want him to reenact the scratch off. So they get him another scratch off, and they're like, "Just for the video."
Oh, God.
He scratches off and wins $250,000 live on TV.
Yeah. So not only has he abandoned his family now, he's got a new car. He's got
He has
$250,000.
the money to. He has the money to go. To
He's-
get up and go. To drive till he hits water.
He
Which
could probably
isn't.
start his own church and have followers because he could be like, I was dead.
Yeah.
I'm back.
I saw the Lord.
And he could just make up. He
Yeah.
could just be like,
100%.
oh, yeah.
So that concludes
Wow.
the two of the luckiest people that I found in 30 minutes of internet research. So I hope you enjoyed Salty Dalton's incredible brain explosion full body learning experience, brought to you by Mattel. Drive safe. This is long, pretty long, huh?
And back to our regular scheduled programming. And you know what that means, Salty Dalton. Do you know what that means? Do you know? Do you know? Because that means...
Oh, yeah. Wait for it. Still wait. Wait for it.
Wait for it. Nope, he's alive. He's alive.
Bill Morgan, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever.
We were wrong, Bill. You were right.
My wife tried to kill me. Yeah, we know, buddy.
It is Fishbowl, the
Fish bowl.
segment where we pitch terrible or useful inventions or investment
You know what?
opportunities.
It's called a fish tank. Shark Tank, fish tank.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the
It's
idea
just
of
dawned
taking a
on me.
lower version of Shark Tank, so it's Fish Bowl.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like-
guess so.
Yeah, trust me, I put some thought into this.
This is
the only thing I've
This
thought
is
about
literally
on
the
this show.
first time it occurred to me to be like, why
Yeah.
didn't we name it Fish Tank? Because you're just downgrading the.
Oh, hello,
Hey, Tilly. Tilly, come here.
Tilly want to see a dead body. Well, nothing. So Fishbowl, we take turns pitching terrible or useful inventions or investment opportunities. Full disclaimer: a lot of these have been used by Elon Musk and
Yep.
some other really smart but crazy people.
We're part of a think tank right now for
Yep.
Disney.
Disney.
And Disney conglomerate.
Yep.
We've been doing a little bit of consulting work on Mitsubishi. Kind of developing
Toyota.
that. We're kind of fleshing out that initial steering wheel drum.
Yeah,
drum
we're
pad
working through
idea.
that right now.
So these are really applicable kind of business opportunities that we're hoping to. We're giving these away for free.
Yeah, so feel
Normally
free.
we charge a lot of money for these,
do.
so just know that you can take these ideas, and we just need 2 or 3% back on your
charge a lot of
earnings.
bacon for it.
Yeah,
Just that's how we're paid.
we're actually paid in meat. Yeah, bacon.
So I think I went first last time. So I think it's your time to start. Your time to shine. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm gonna open the door here. Let you into the fish tank.
Good afternoon, fishes. Fish 1, fish 2, fish 3, blue fish, green fish, yellow fish. I'm ready to do this. Are you?
Yes.
So, been doing a lot of thinking lately, and when I do a lot of thinking, I get hungry. And you know what I do when I get hungry? I go to my pantry. I open it up and I reach for my favorite snack, only to find out that it is not there. I'd eaten it all and I'd forgotten. Well, I had to keep thinking that there needs to be a solution to this, and so I went to the drawing board. I consulted many different companies, different technologies, and I arrived at iPantry, the first intelligent food storing and stock level notification system. You simply install the module into your pantry. It will scan and record quantities, levels, replenishment. It will track your grocery list. It'll tell you what you need to order, when you need to order it, what's left, and what you need to complete and to fully stock your pantry. It's called iPantry. Available now.
So the device just tells you what you have left of that stock.
No. I don't mean to be rude here,
Foods-
but I don't think that you fully were paying attention.
Food storing and stock level notification system. So basically, if you open your
So
pantry and
you
you
will
see
never
2
be
boxes of cookies,
you will verify.
It will say you've got 2 boxes of cookies left.
Even better
But you're
is
like, I see that.
when you're away from the house and
Okay.
you go, I can't remember if I had bought bread or not.
Okay.
And the worst thing is when you get back to your house and you're like, oh crap, I don't have milk or I don't have
Yeah.
bread. I got to go back out and do. You don't want
Sure.
to go back out and do that. So you now can monitor your food stock levels
Okay.
remotely. So you're at the store, it'll pull up things that either are expired that you need to get rid of, things that you're almost out of, things you need to think about buying based on your previous history. It will basically build you a grocery list to maintain the healthiest and the most plentiful pantry that you could possibly have.
Now
we do have options for the fridge as well.
Yeah, they're coming out with that.
They are. That's currently still in
Sure.
R&D.
That's a real thing.
It is?
Yeah, they're coming out with that.
Oh.
A smart fridge.
Right, so we're doing this, but this is iPantry.
The pantry, they are not. I have not heard anything about. Smart fridge, they are making
Yeah,
fridges.
so this
they'll
is-
automatically order stuff for you through Amazon.
So you just have to quick check the app and see,
Sure.
and it basically it has different kind of breakdowns and reports that you can run. And it can be like, hey, you
So is
have
this in tandem
3
with
cans-
Apple?
3
Because it's
cans of beef.
iPantry. That's
No,
something
no, it's different. It's kind of like iHome. iHome isn't an Apple product,
Oh,
but
it's an Apple
iHome.
product.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, iHome is not.
Its own. Yeah, it is.
It's called iHome, but
Yeah,
Apple doesn't own the i.
I think they do.
There's no way.
I think they do. Why else would it be called iHome and let you plug in your iPod?
What about iRobot? Is the stupid Roomba
No, okay.
thing?
Yeah, oh, well, okay. I thought you meant the movie. I was like, no, Apple didn't pay for the movie.
Yeah, but like for the Roombas and stuff, it's like the iRobot app.
Look,
And
man, I'm just telling you.
listen, I don't know where you come here. My ideas.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. I'm pretty sure it's just a company name because guess what? They have the iPhone lockdown and nothing else.
I don't know. I'll have to wiki this again. You could be right.
Okay, tell
could
you
be
what.
wrong.
IntelliPantry. Is that better?
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay.
IntelliPantry?
Anyway,
That's terrible. Terrible.
like
name.
intelligent pantry.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
So the problem is I know people in the real world are working on this, but again, it is just for the
and you
fridge.
can also
This is
type in
different.
you
Okay,
can type in what you want to make. Maybe and it won't have
Ooh.
it won't have frozen. It won't have like it could have fridge items in there. If you can what you can do is you can select.
Yeah.
Hey, I have these items that you're not accounting for,
Yeah.
but you could just be like, I'm feeling like tacos tonight.
Yeah, it'd
And
be interesting to tie it
it'll
into
be
a
like
menu.
you have
Yeah.
this kind of beans. You're missing these 2 ingredients in hard shell tacos
Yeah.
out
That's
of
kinda
your whole
cool.
pantry. You can't put anything together. You need these.
Especially if you tie it to the
Yeah.
fridge and the pantry, and then there's like an electronic menu where you're
Yeah, you
you're
can
like,
pick and be
I wanna
like,
cook-
hey, based on what I have in my pantry right now, I can make these dishes.
Ooh,
what
that's
if I want to
kinda
make
neat.
this?
That
one?
should be the
Yeah.
invention.
That is the invention.
That's not the invention.
That's part of the invention. That's literally what I said.
You just added that.
No, I didn't.
No, the
I was
part
talking
with-
about that from the beginning. I said you can look and see what you have and what you can
The
make.
part with the menu was not part of the
Okay,
invention.
obviously it's not going to be a Chinese menu, Ben, but you have the option to. Okay, you know what? Are you investing in this opportunity?
I love when you pretend. I'll give you 4 stars. I
Okay,
love when you
first of all,
pretend
so
that the
you know,
idea is like yours as we're like inventing
It is
the
though.
idea.
I literally, this was my idea.
No. The iPantry is your idea.
All you did was say, this exists. Oh, wow, that function you just described to me would be really cool. I'm like, it is, isn't it?
No, what I said is I invented the function of here's all the recipes
you
that
didn't.
work with your.
I literally explained this to you.
This said food storage and stock level notification
Okay.
system. It says you
That
have
was just
2
a
bags of
tagline.
chips in your pantry.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me
also
what I
said
already
you
know.
can and then I said you can search to see if you can make this stuff, and you said, "Wow, that
I
would be
retract
really
1
cool."
star.
You can't do that.
3 stars.
It was a 4-star idea before
It
you
was a
did
3-star idea.
that. No, it was a 4-star idea
Crap.
before
Now
you
the
did
problem with me ripping this to shreds is now I have to go,
that. Yeah,
and this
good
gonna
luck.
go well.
Let's go,
Okay.
Choco. You ready?
Hey, fishes.
Hey, sup, bitch?
So, one of the issues in the world, and I'm sure you do this at your work as well, is you probably print a lot of things. You've got a lot of paper that you use. You use a lot of ink. Well, guess what? We are inventing. You no longer have to go and purchase new paper every time you got to run a new report. Instead, we're talking about reusable paper.
Oh, yeah?
With a special printer with special ink. And what happens is you print out your report, You need it for a couple days for that meeting. You don't need that anymore. You can run the paper through the printer. It will remove all of the special ink, and suddenly it's a blank piece of paper again that you can reprint on. It is called reusable paper. It's not. I don't really have a better name for it, but it's a special printer.
It's called
removes
reusable
inks.
paper.
It comes with 10 sheets. That's pretty much all you need for everything else that you need to do. Reusable paper. Help
Okay.
the world.
So you do know reusable paper is a real thing.
Reusable paper is, but not in this context.
Okay, and so you're
With a
saying
special
you're
printer.
saying 10 pages is all you need. So if I have a 30-page document,
Well,
10
you
pages
could
should be
purchase-
able to cover that.
Well, it depends on how quickly you need to show all 30 pages. You could show 10.
So you mean like, here, read this, and then feed it back in? Read this?
I mean, you can purchase more paper, but the whole point is, like, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of times I print out things at work, I use them for one thing, and then I just have to throw away the paper because I don't need that report
You don't
anymore.
recycle it? You
so
just throw it
now,
away?
or recycle, but
Well, you
know,
said throw away first, so
yeah,
like, you can be honest.
I
You
only
throw
have
it
one
away?
trash can. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have 2 in my room, but they're not both recycling. Which is weird for a publishing company. But
That raises
we
a lot of
waste a lot of
questions.
paper.
We do too.
But at that point, I would just be able to take the paper that I used for that thing that I printed, run it back through the printer, remove all of the ink, and it's a blank sheet
How many times
again.
can you run it through? And also, like,
It's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit stable paper.
so it's like cardstock? Like, what happens if you wrinkle the paper, though?
It's cardstock. It will
Or you
smooth
tear
out
it?
when you run
What
it
if
through.
you tear it?
Well, if you tear it, what's the like? Yeah, then it's just a torn piece of paper. I don't know what to tell you at that point. You're screwed.
Okay, so you have to...
That's not the issue that we're
so
dealing
you
with.
receive the paper. You have to keep it in pristine
Like,
condition.
for example, these formats, we could keep reusing the same paper every week.
Unless, like, look at how dicked up this is already.
Okay,
if I
well-
fold this, it's done.
It will smooth back out when you run it through the
So what is an ironing board?
It's a roller. It's got a roller.
It's got a roller in
Yeah.
there. A magical
It will
roller
smooth it
that
out.
sucks away the ink.
It will suck because it's special ink.
It's
and it will suck away the ink,
special ink.
and then it'll be a blank piece of paper, and then you can
Can it print in color?
this week's format. Yeah, you can print in color. Sure.
How much are the printer cartridges? What's the price point for this type of system?
Well, it's expensive, but
How much
it
are the
saves you
refill
money in the long run.
How much are the refill packs?
Well,
All I'm saying
refill
is, like,
packs of what?
For a busy office, you aren't going to get by a 10 piece of paper. Then
It's
you gotta
it's
take a
reusable
number.
ink. It takes the ink from the first thing that you printed, reuses that to on the next piece of paper.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's kind of
No,
genius.
but it isn't.
Now you may need a couple extra cartridges here and there, but you definitely, here's the thing, you will definitely not have to buy that much paper anymore, and you won't need to buy as much ink anymore. So it saves you money.
You just have to take really good care of the paper you have.
Yeah, but like,
So,
okay,
like,
not
put
that
it-
many people are. Okay, we're not talking about 3-year-olds running around the classroom, like ripping up the paper. Here's my report, officer. Take a look at my report.
Look at this
Now I
piece of
don't
paper
need-
you handed to me
Okay,
2 days ago.
That's different. I folded it up and put it in my front pocket, which I almost never
you
do.
will never be able to fold paper again. You understand that, right?
Well, obviously,
Like the way you treated this, you will have to understand that if your office is going to do this, that you have to carry it around on a golden pedestal.
if you need that specific type of situation, then just use the regular paper. This is for the
But then what's-
situation where you're.
well, can that printer do it on regular paper too?
Yeah, it's a special.
So it can
printer.
take the ink out of regular paper too. So what's stopping me from just being
Yeah.
like, cool printer, I'm going to feed regular paper through it now?
Well, why would you want to do that?
Oh, if you run out
Well,
of
no, it
reusable
can't.
paper.
No. The reusable aspect doesn't work with regular paper. You have to buy the special.
Okay,
paper.
but you just said it did though. So
No,
you're backtracking.
It can suck ink from regular paper. It can't reuse that paper to print on.
Okay, so theoretically you could feed it old paper to
Uh-huh.
replenish the ink.
Exactly.
And
That's
is
why
that
it's
your
great
original
for
idea?
the environment. It's exactly
that's your original idea?
Yeah, and then you can look
Well,
at
that'd be a great
what
function.
the menu is at the restaurant and then decide, I'm going to cook these ingredients with what I have in my pantry. 2 boxes of cookies, 2 bags of chips. Thank you so much, iPantry. I didn't know I had that. How many things do
Well,
you have in
good,
your
'cause I
pantry
guess
that you
it-
need to keep track of?
Have you? I'm sorry. Well, my pantry doesn't have 3 things in it, Ben. It isn't a bean, a bag of chips,
Yeah.
and an old stapler.
Well, I mean, again, okay. My invention was great. It's
I mean,
reusable
your
paper.
invention would be a
I'm
lot
saving
better.
the environment.
Ben, your invention
I'm saving
would be
the environment.
Your invention would have been a lot better if you didn't shit all over mine. I will give you 2.5 stars, maybe
Oof.
3.
Let's go 4.
Let's do 3.
I think you gave me 4. 1.
I think your technology is
3.
interesting, but I think
Reusable paper.
your execution is terrible.
We're saving the environment. We're saving people money. Reusable paper. That's the slogan,
Yeah.
and it's a special printer. It's about $2,000.
What you should do is you should have the printer and it has an attachment, and what you do is you throw regular used paper that you've been printing off in there, and what it does is breaks it down, sucks the ink out, and creates
That's what I said.
recycled paper.
That's what I said.
No, that's not what you said. Though.
No, I said that it takes the ink from the old paper.
I don't think
I
you
said
understand the core concept. You said it only works on special paper, though.
Yeah, well, it only prints on special paper.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like you can throw any paper in this printer. This printer will take the old ink out, replenish the ink levels of its own,
that's what I
and
said.
then create the new paper for you.
No,
No?
doesn't do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree.
Roll 'em. Action.
I just don't know what you have against my idea. You just took a knife, started hacking.
I did, but that's part of what it's like being a shark
Yeah?
in the shark.
It's hard
pit.
being a little fish in a shark pond.
Yeah. It's time for Pilot House. Another chance to flex our brilliant minds.
Flex on them.
I like that these segments
That's
are back
lip,
to
fam,
back.
dab.
They're back to back. I like how these segments are back to back because we get to show you our
And bring our
wonderful
emotional
brains.
baggage from one section.
No. We've moved on. We've moved on. This is a whole new segment. We will not make fun of iRobot Pantry anymore. Instead, this is Pilot House, where we pitch. Are you just eating chocolate chips?
Oh, it's beef.
Okay. I thought you were just eating a bag of. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So Pilot House. This is where we create new TV shows, pilots. We flesh it out a little bit, and another opportunity again to flex our giant brains. So I will go first this time because you went first for Fishbowl. So this idea is still in the very beginning stages, but here's the concept. The show is called Put It to the Test, and the way this show works is
Put it to the test?
Put it to the test. So similar to shows like Mythbusters or that car show that people like. What Put It to the Test is, it's a show that tests products to their full limit and potential. So,
Okay, so like...
so you run any product at its maximum potential. So
like if you got a car, you would literally floor it.
you would be able to basically you put any product, but we're not talking cars. We're talking like
A toaster.
like
You know how a
ladders.
toaster has 1, 2
Yeah.
through 10?
Yeah.
And 10 has got to be like an actual piece of charcoal.
So you're pushing any one of these products to their absolute limits.
So you're like part of a test team for it. Your
Exactly.
job is to break it.
So each week the test team sees
I like that.
exactly
Call them the
how
test team.
far
You put
how
together a test team, yeah.
Exactly. How far that product can go. And these are simple products. These aren't cars because there's already a show for that. So like we're talking about a thing like this is a very simple example, but let's say you have like a stretchy thing and you stretch it as far as it can possibly go till it breaks. So you see, okay, that's the breaking point for this stretchy thing.
Well, I like where you're going with this, but I think like stick with just random items like that.
Yeah.
So maybe something sticky, a kid's toy.
Yeah.
Like let's use the toaster for example.
Sure.
You max out the heat. You test its bounceability. Does it bounce when it hits the ground?
Yeah, exactly. You can use products in things that they're not normally used for.
You put it in a wind tunnel and
Yeah.
you test the aerodynamics
Yep,
of the toaster,
yep,
and
yep.
then maybe you make improvements.
kinda
to
what I
it,
was thinking.
And then for the first time, you come up with after you do all these tests, maybe you have like 30 toasters to burn.
Yeah.
So like because you can't reuse a toaster you keep beating out of.
No.
You could be like, this toaster can withstand 3 shovel hits
Yeah.
and is the most aerodynamic toaster of its generation. And you're coming up with new marketing taglines for it. So I think the test team delivers their results in a final presentation to investors.
Yeah, and that's what happens at the end of the show. So this is a weekly show, and the test team so it's called Put It to the Test.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually a really interesting one because it's kind of like it's very Mythbusters-y, but
Exactly.
it's like, hey, take this roll of tape and
Yep.
do things to it that
Yeah.
you shouldn't do with a roll of
Exactly.
tape.
Ugh.
And then tell people about it. Except for maybe
Sorry, my mind always goes to that. God, people that listen to the show are just like, God, he's just a moron. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, let me set this tape roll on fire. How long does it last? Let me throw this tape roll off the top of a building. Does it still is it still intact? Does it still last?
does it work
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like that would be interesting.
Can I use this paperclip 200,000 leagues under the sea?
Yeah,
will
you
it
can
still
pressure
work?
test it and be
Yeah.
like, hey, this paperclip can fly at speeds of 60 miles an hour before
Shoot
losing,
it out of a
yeah.
cannon. Yep, it still works. That sort of thing. Put it to the test. That's
I like it. I like that a lot. That's actually a very good one.
Well, I'm genius. So
We should get into movie pilots types
Clearly.
of like this should be.
oh yeah, clearly.
We have wasted talent. So I have two sort of
Okay.
ones that
Let's flesh
aren't-
them out.
one is called "Is It Edible?"
Okay. I already like this.
And so this
I already like this.
So I think this is like, and I don't know if this is a real thing. I know there are like crazy stuff all over maybe YouTube segments have done it, but like basically you put somebody in a room, and you have an elite level team of like food makers, stuff like that. But basically they're making something edible. Maybe it's chocolate, maybe it's a vegetable or something to make it look like exactly like an everyday item.
Oh, okay.
Like a door handle.
Sure.
Make it out of chocolate. And then that contestant gets like 5 minutes to try to figure out what is the thing that's edible in the room. And it's like odorless and stuff.
Interesting.
And
then,
then
you spray it like if it was chocolate, it wouldn't stay just brown. It's not a brown door handle. Like you spray it.
Yeah,
with
you have the metallic paint on it
food
and stuff.
spray and stuff.
And and this person has to just wander around the room, sniff stuff, try to figure out what's edible. And then when they're ready to make the decision or before time is up, because it's like a time trial. So maybe it's not maybe it's a minute, maybe it's 2 minutes. They have to take the bite out of something.
And you can call that room the Wonka room because it's like in Willy Wonka how everything was edible.
So they have to bite it.
Yeah.
And if they bite it and it breaks off and they can chew it, it's like they get it, or they might just bite a shoe and it's a shoe.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then the buzzer goes off and like something like that. But something where they have to like find the piece of edible food.
It's like there's 10 items in the room. One of them, or it's a staged room.
It's a staged room,
something
like an escape
in the
room. Something in that room is edible, and it's something like. It's very hard to find. It's not something you'd immediately think of, but it's not impossible to get to.
Because like they can make cakes now that look like crazy. Like this is a
that's
stapler.
what I'm saying. Is like
stuff
something like that. Yeah, and to make it just small enough. So like, if this was a staged room, that bottle cap is actually some type of candy.
Yeah,
and it'd be my job to choose. And there's two. I'd be like, it doesn't smell like candy. It doesn't feel like candy, but I have to like pop it in my mouth and chew it.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
And the only other one I had was Food Fight. And you've seen all those shows about like Forged in Fire and like the blacksmith shows and where they built the guns and stuff. This one is you design weapons out of food.
Ooh, okay.
And then so basically think battle bots with food instead of robots.
You could do some damage with food. I mean, pretzels, they can be like...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is so you get they tell you what the theme is. You have to design this weapon out of food, and then you test its durability, its destructive power, its aerodynamics, something like that. So like I made an axe out of a pretzel. Can this pretzel destroy this item? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting. So it'd be like just you try to make things out of food and see who made the best weapon out of the food.
Were you really hungry when you came up with these TV show ideas?
I was. I missed part of my lunch today because of that meeting.
You're just sitting there, in the meeting, starving, just coming up with TV shows with food-related things. I like both of these. I'm more in favor of...
Is it edible?
Is it edible? Because I really think... Because here's the whole thing, like... bakers and food makers and things like that, like they can make things look
like you would
very
literally
different.
Like if you've been into this could be an actual thing.
It could,
but you'd have to just take that leap, and like that's just the thing. You have no idea.
I like,
and you have to use your best guess, and maybe it feels different. Maybe you have a hunch. Maybe it does smell, and you know it's food. You eat it.
I like it. That is Pilot House. Let's move into do's and don'ts.
Just do it! I don't think so. Just do it!
Do's and don'ts. Now, with our timing, we're only going to have a chance to get through like 2 of these, and then we got to move into call center. But I do have an email write-in, Salty Dalton, that actually just came in today.
Oh, okay, I used some of our previous emails to flesh out this list.
Keep those emails coming if you do want to contribute to do's and don'ts and some of the other segments. Again, the randomwordblog@gmail.com. Hey guys, need your help with something. Would love to get your do's and don'ts input in this topic. Getting out of social events you're invited to. I have this work friend. Let's call him Sven. Sven, hey man, want to do a Porch Beer Friday next week? Ricky, ... Needless to say, I haven't answered yet. Thought about using my go-to, can't make it. Rollerblading accident decapitated me from the waist down. But once you use it once, it's lived its life. So I'm looking for other suggestions from Ricky. So this is interesting because I'm kind of in a similar situation because I asked Ricky to Porch Beer Friday. So my guess is he's talking about me.
Yeah, so Ricky, is this Ricky sent this in?
This is Ricky.
Ricky, I'm not quite sure what your relationship is to this friend that's asking to do some type of porch beer activity.
Sven,
yeah. So what you need to do is you need to pick an aspect of your life that Sven is unfamiliar with. Now, when you work with somebody and they get to know you, they can kind of get a feel for if you're giving them a bullshit excuse or not. So you need to pick something that they're unfamiliar with. So one of my go-to things, if a lot of people don't know about my animals or my wife, I go, oh, my wife has a she's a runner, so several excuses I've used because they don't know a ton about my personal life. Like at work, be like, hey, you coming to this?
Yeah, like they don't follow her on social media.
They're like, you coming to this happy hour on Friday? I'm like, I can't. My wife actually has a race down in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
She's a big runner. She's actually doing a 10-miler to warm up for a marathon she's doing in January. So I'm using enough truth sprinkled in with something unfamiliar that they're not quite sure about, and so they're just going to be like, oh man, that's a very specific thing. You need to put enough details in there where it's a thought out like sentence, like this is a go-to thing that you have.
Can't say she's running a race. You have to say she's running a 10K, or you have to like
give
make it
a
specific.
location. Have what I would like if you're going to
look up a real race.
If you're going to go a race route, look up real races.
They happen like every weekend, so you can find them.
And be like, hey, no, sorry, I would love to, but I'm doing this, or I got to prep for this, and you drop these little facts, and then when they decide to fact check it, if they even do that, you get more credibility in their eyes. They're like, oh, he's a busy guy. All right, well, that's all right. We'll keep trying.
Yeah.
That way, you get the benefit of still being in that group of friends. You still get invited, so you still know what's going on.
You don't want to be on the
outside.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think one of the great things about having a wife or a kid is that is a built-in excuse.
The kid apparently is like a go-to.
It's unbelievable how long you can milk that. Even through,
especially if they're like super young. Like if you just had a baby, be like, can't duty.
The baby can't just like live on its own. I need to look after it. And then like you said, if you have a wife or husband, that's a built-in excuse right there. So and so's not feeling well. I'm going to stay home with them. So and so's running a race, like you said.
You could even get like slightly like you could be like, yeah, my husband and I aren't on. Like, we've had a really rough week this week. We've been arguing a lot. We're going to set aside some time to go out to dinner. I planned to plan this last minute. I'm really sorry.
You can make them feel bad.
You're throwing a personal tidbit out there.
Yeah.
And you're kind of creating that thing, and you're being open with them, and they're like, oh, man.
Vulnerable.
I didn't know that's going on. Like, you do you. Take your time. We'll be here if you need anything.
Yeah.
You just hit a home run.
And then you can
there.
leverage that into like, what would actually be great is I have a couple of reports I got to write this week. If you don't mind taking that over so I can head out early to buy my wife flowers. And
the key is once you start the web of lies, Ricky, never stop spinning.
No, but you have to keep track. Keep
you
notes.
You do have to keep notes.
Notes on your phone or
write
something.
Write it on your hand even.
Yeah.
You need to keep a detailed diary
Didn't you say your wife was dead, Tim?
What you should do is just keep a detailed diary of your new life, because when you start a lie like that, and maybe you don't even have a wife,
that's true.
You need to start acting like everything you've just said. And so when people start asking, be like, how was your wife's birthday you missed out on happy hour for? Oh, it was great. We took her to this place called La Fromage. They do wine and cheese. We did the whole tasting menu. It was fantastic. In fact, you should go there. Here's the address. And they'll look it up and they'll be like, this place looks amazing. And you've created your own life. Just keep track of it. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, because here's the whole thing. If you're going to work this hard.
Sven sounds like an idiot. So you should probably just like.
I mean, he sounds like a nice guy. Just asking him to Porch Beer Fridays.
He's probably one of those creepy kind of work guys.
Great tradition.
He's probably the type of person you walk in that's doing like something like picking their nose. So
really. I mean, everybody does it.
Yeah, everyone does, right? But like Sven seems like the kind of guy that would go above and beyond and trying to make you feel weird about the fact you saw it.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should go to Porch Beer Friday with Sven, because maybe he's just being a nice guy, Ricky.
I don't know,
he's
Ricky.
inviting you to something.
I just feel like you don't know Sven enough. He could be kind of down low creepy. Maybe you don't know him.
Well, we hope you have that advice, but my advice would be hang out with Sven. He's
don't
a nice
hang
guy.
out with Sven, Ricky.
Let's do one more here. Let's do, because of the time of year that we're in right now, let's do final exams.
Okay, so
that wasn't really a do and a don't that we just did. We just gave you straight up advice, I guess.
That was treated like that call-in question.
Because he didn't really ask. He was just like, he's looking for suggestions about now. So his
it was a question.
His was a call center.
It was a call center. Congratulations, you got a call center.
Way to ruin the
early.
show,
you
Ricky.
jerk.
You snuck it in there. So let's look at let's do do's and don'ts for final exams, because it's that time of year, Salty Dalton, that college students are wrapping up the spring semester. They're getting ready for summer break, but they got to get through these final exams first. What is a do for final exams?
So one do that you can kind of utilize for final exams is this one's a little bit harder, but you're gonna play the mental game. What you're gonna go for is you're gonna get that curve. So your goal is to get everyone to do so bad that all of your grades get bumped up. Now this means you don't need to outperform anyone in particular. You need to maybe when you get the test down, you go like, yes, this is so easy. Or be like, ask questions that have like very intricate meanings about these things. Be like, are we supposed to consider this variable, blah, blah, blah? And then people are like, they're thinking so much about that. Maybe you've studied so hard that you just like throw out answers that seem wrong, or you're leaning over and being like, hey, that's a trick question. They just passed this to me a couple days ago with this guy in my fraternity. That's wrong. You need to go with this. And you know, that or maybe a couple days before, you hold study groups and you start teaching the wrong information. And so what you're going to do is you're going to collectively drag everyone's grade down so that the new average is bumped up.
That's a good.
It's
the
a way to
curve is
skate.
helpful.
It's a way to skate by without truly learning the content. And I
like
think
that.
that's what you went to college for.
Here's my do.
Yeah.
Bring your own test.
Oh my
Now,
God,
here's the
that's
thing.
amazing.
Here's the thing. You're
Holy
going to up. They're going to be passing out tests. You just go, oh, no, I've already got one.
Not
And
even
then-
that. Just I think it would be better if you swapped it out.
Yeah, or you swap it out. It's really whatever type of test you want it to be. It could be on any subject matter. It could be
On the colors.
on the color. It could be anything. You fill that out. You pass that back with everybody else. The teacher at that point
It's like, did I hand this out?
it's the end of the semester. There's really nothing left for him to do or her to do. All they got to do is just grade that specific test, and that's going to be your grade.
Like-
It's too late to make you try it again.
It's genius. And if they make you try it again, guess what? You just bought an extra week to talk to
study.
people who just took that actual test.
Or do that, yeah.
That's
that
the
works.
craziest part. Like, because imagine handing that back in if the teacher had no idea you switched it and be like,
Yeah.
this test was crazy. Like, or you hand it and you'd be like, that was
Act like, yeah.
that was the best joke test I've ever taken.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much. Have a great summer. And you walk away and they're looking at this thing being like, what color is the sky? Blue. Who's the best teacher? This person.
God. Thank you so much for that. That was such a gift. I was really worried about my grade in this class.
That
and
would be
thank you so much.
incredible.
You're like, what the
Because like I think I mentioned before, I had like, because I got such a severe concussion one year, I missed like so many days of school. In addition to senioritis, we had it was like AP government or something.
Yeah.
And I remember like walking in one time and like we had like these final projects due, and like it was due after we like had already graduated sort of or something. Like seniors stopped coming to school past a certain day.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her, I was like, this is the last day that you're going to see me. She's like, well, you have to present on Wednesday. I was like, this is the last day you're gonna see me. My head, it hurts. And she's like, say no more, I'll just give you the class average for it. And I was like, I really hope that the class does a good job.
Then you turn around and look at a bunch of idiots. What is
That's
your
such
don't?
a good idea. I love
appreciate
your
that.
don't. My don't would be don't be afraid to try to make yourself look smarter, better, cooler, faster than the other students taking the test.
Sure.
One technique you could probably employ is like you have like some voodoo items in front of you and like maybe roll this dice or some bones and then like nod and be like, that makes sense, and you circle the answer you already knew. But you wanna create an
Some
air
bones,
that
just
you have you need to create the sense that you know something the
That they
others don't.
I like that.
Yeah.
My don't is don't put your name on the test. Put somebody else's name on the test. Turn that in. When they're passing a test back, you go, I was here. Like, I'm part of the attendance.
You're on the attendance. Dude,
I was
you're
here.
a gold mine.
I'm very good at not doing work.
Hey, I didn't get my test
I didn't
back.
get my test.
And it's like, well, you were here. I saw you. And they see you handing it in
Yeah.
or putting it there.
Yeah,
And what
make
you
sure
need
to, like, say something.
You have to say so. You have to be like,
I remember it.
Mr. Sullivan, have like a really great weekend, and I'll see you back on
and then
Tuesday.
like spit up a little bit, and so
Yeah.
that way he'll remember. He's like, did that guy just
or
spit up?
Trip going out the
Yeah.
door. Yeah.
And then when he hands back the test, you go, I didn't get mine. He's like, what the hell? And I was like, and then he's like looking through. He's like, oh, I guess I must have lost yours.
I think you had a pretty good handle on the content. How
yeah,
about we
I'll
just
give you the class
and
average.
That's when he talks to you. The class average is like
That's what you suggest. You throw out to him.
Yeah.
You just be like, oh God, like I got this big trip coming. I don't think I can stay later. But
There we go. We got a big trip coming up.
Why don't we just
class
do the class
average?
average?
Class
Why don't we-
average. Well done, sir.
oh,
Well done.
goodness.
fantastic. Let's go.
Goodness gracious.
Oh God, that was amazing. That was probably our best do's and don'ts we've ever had.
Yeah, this was really good advice.
I hate to cut you off.
Oh yeah,
real
yeah.
quick.
You got that? Okay, sure.
Hello, Random Word Podcast.
Time for the final segment on this Thursday.
Thursday. It's random, boy.
May 16th, 2019.
Hey.
Episode 36 of the Random Word Podcast. Call center.
36.
Be sure to email us at therandomwordblog@gmail.com. Man, Ricky's getting a lot of run on this show. First email is from Ricky.
His age is unknown. I don't
He's
know.
from Dexter's Laboratory.
He didn't put it in the email, so.
He's probably like 45, I think. He said...
At least.
Yeah, that's what he looks like, I think. Imagine the things Dexter could have done with... This terminology just makes sense. Could have done with Dee Dee hadn't f***ed him up so many times. If Dee Dee hadn't f***ed him up so many times.
Idiot.
So Dexter, we know Dexter's Laboratory, the TV show, really smart guy, but Dee Dee, his sister... Yeah. Dee Dee would screw things up all the time.
It's funny
for
too
Dexter.
because like it goes one of two ways with that. It's like you either like, haha, oh my god, she just destroyed his entire.
Yeah.
So like
His
the
life's
thing
work.
is, he spent a majority of that show rebuilding his state of the art lab. This kid was inventing like solar powered ginormo robots.
He was making incredible things for his age.
And he had to spend so much of his time doing damage control.
Yeah, for Dee Dee.
His sister would run through the lab breaking things. And it'd be like a button that says don't touch. She's like, ha 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 ha, touch. I'd be like, if it was like a real show, and you just turn around and you're like, Dee Dee, what the is wrong with you? And just sit her down, and she's actually got like some kind of impediment. Like,
well, she might have had an issue. I'm not sure, but you're right.
It was just like it was a joke to her. She destroyed. I can't even put a price tag on.
It's very.
Think
expensive.
about the discoveries for science that those things
this
could have
was a brilliant
contributed.
young mind, young Dexter. He definitely was headed to MIT at some point, and meanwhile he's
like
got this laboratory
he's
in
like 8
his house.
years old, and he's got a secret lab with
Yeah.
technology that no one has access to. That he has to keep rebuilding because his sister is just like, LOL. Let me destroy this real quick.
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee. I just remember like, what was he saying? La fromage or something like where he's like talking like omelette.
Yeah,
he's like speaking French, and all the girls are like, "Oh my god!" And all he was saying was like omelette de fraîche.
Dexter, man.
Dexter, dude, that man was.
He was the man.
He was. I mean, I loved when he pulled open his closet, and it was all like it was individual outfits of the same outfit.
The same one.
And that
Best
was
part
the
of a
first,
TV show.
That was the first time they ever addressed why they only wear the same clothes.
Yeah. Like, it's because he's got a closet of just that. What are you, an idiot?
In reality, it's because like the animators are like, I'm not drawing a winter coat on this
We're not
kid.
changing his outfit. What about Michael? Michael, he's 22 years old, Salty Don. What's his question?
His question is, what has made you two laugh the hardest in your life? Oh, that's hard.
That's a hard question.
There's been a lot of things I've laughed at. Oh, man.
Dude, I have no idea. I laugh at so many things because I don't take anything seriously.
Okay, so there was, So I don't think there's one overarching moment that I can roll up everything into and be like, this was the funniest moment of my life. Because guess what? Our lives aren't over yet.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we're going to have plenty more laughs ahead of us, man.
Okay,
because we keep on keeping on in peace. It's 2019, Ben.
Crap, now I have to bleep that out?
PC, Ben.
That's a long bleep.
I can specifically remember, times where it's like very rare that I ever cry from laughing, and it's only happened a few times for me, particularly.
Sure.
And it's not like I'm not like emotionally stunned or anything. It's just like it's hard to make me laugh so hard I cry.
Yeah.
But there was one time, so I dragged Pete, our CMO, into taking a golf class with me for an entire semester.
I remember this.
And he hated it.
Yeah.
And then ended up loving golf. And
Yeah,
it was
of
all
course.
about golf.
Yeah. That's how Pete is. He throws himself into stuff and he gets very, very good at it.
Yeah, because what he doesn't like, and he explains to me, is like, he's like, I don't like things I'm not immediately good at. And I'm like, Pete, welcome to the real world.
To the world.
I'm like, you know how many things I'm bad at all the time?
Everything.
It just golf is one of the things you need to work at.
Hell,
too.
you can't even eat penne pasta.
Yeah, without ruining my tie.
Yeah.
And So, and what's funny about this golf class is we have like, we go out to the driving range, we do all the lessons and stuff like that. It was really weird, but in order for it to be like a formal class, we need a test.
A test, yeah.
And they can't test you on like, they can't be like, you need to shoot par at this course because like, that's
Golf,
impossible.
it's
impossible. So we had to take a written test on golf rules.
Yeah.
And around that time, a video came out where, I don't remember if you remember the girl with the shovel. And the shovel smack
Vaguely,
that was heard around the world. It was like these two girls that were arguing.
Yeah, okay.
And they're like from the south and like all this stuff about someone's boyfriend. And then this other girl takes the shovel and throws it at her. And the sound it made when it hit her head and she hit the ground, for some reason, Pete and I were both sitting next to each other. And like I showed him this video and we played the sound. This is right before the class started.
Yeah.
And we were dying. I could not contain myself. We were laughing so hard, the instructor was like, "Can I help you? Can you two stop?" Like, he separated us. He was, like, yelling at us. I kept thinking about and hearing the smack of that shovel on that girl's head. I was dying. I could not contain myself. I laughed for probably the entire 35 minutes it took to take that test.
That's the place of no return. You get that certain
Because
place
as soon
and
as you
laugh.
start laughing and then someone else is laughing,
Yeah.
you're at that place that you've taken the leap over the edge where nothing is not funny to you. And we just kept watching that video and dying.
I love it.
So I remember that specifically. That might be like, there's a few times where I've like cried from laughing. That one, I physically could not stop my body from laughing.
The weird thing for me is like, I feel like any moment that I've like cried from laughing has been like a very fleeting moment that I can't, like, that's no longer funny after it happens.
Like the good morning bit we had.
Yeah, something like
morning,
that. Like
we were
like
laughing
I think I
back.
like cried laughing during that. So it's like something that like in that distinct moment, I'll find it the funniest thing in the world, and then later on it will still be funny, but I'll never get that same same laughter to it. So I can't think of anything specific, but definitely have had some moments there. Last one here for call center, Brett. 28 years old, subject matter into the wilds.
Okay, I like it.
So Brett, first time camping. My husband and I have both never gone camping and hiking before and will be doing so for about a week. Any piece of advice for this? Things I should pack and shouldn't pack? Emergency preparedness? Any information would help.
Brett, I'm going to level with you. Seems like you probably shouldn't go camping right now.
Yeah, you're already pretty not ready for this, I think.
So, I mean, right off the bat, Brett, first thing you need to worry about, bears.
Bears, yeah.
Bears. Instantly bears.
There's bears being sighted around here.
You need bear mace. You need bear repellent. You need bear-proof canisters. In fact,
a bear jacket, like where you look like another bear.
Bear jacket. Your tent should actually be a giant bear. Like a Trojan horse that you climb inside of.
I wonder if I like wore a bear, because they make those like bear onesies. I wonder if I wore that and if a bear was nearby, if the bear would leave me alone.
It's either that or try to like.
But then again, it might smell a human, so it might be like, you're not a bear.
I don't know. It would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
But I think like
you might think I'm its cub.
I mean, but like
try to give me milk.
What if it takes? Okay, I don't think it's.
I'm not asking for it.
Stick its titties.
I'm just telling you,
mouth.
it might give me that. I mean, I'm not gonna
refuse. What do you mean you're not gonna refuse?
I'm not gonna turn it down.
So you're
it's
saying
being nice to me.
Saying like you won't actively seek a bear's milk, but you won't say no.
It's like right in my face. What do you want me to do?
A bear isn't
slap
just
the
like
bear. Get out of my way.
A bear isn't just gonna like strip club show you its titties and be like, here you go, drink from me, my child. You sick.
It might.
Okay, yeah, sure. If you're wearing
I'm
a
thirsty.
super
I'm in the middle of the woods.
Because that's the first thing on a bear's mind is like, oh, here's a weird bear I've never seen before. Oh, you know what? It's probably thirsty. Come on over here.
It's an animal. It doesn't
take a drink.
Doesn't know. It just sees. Oh, there's one of my cubs.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. He's a big boy.
You think
he
it
must
doesn't
be really
know
drinking a lot of milk.
It doesn't have 30 kids like a rabbit. It's not gonna be like, oh, I forgot what my kids look like. You look like my kid.
Yeah, it might. It was gonna be like, oh, he looks hungry. I mean, look, you know.
Anyway, so bears are definitely the number one thing you should avoid. Don't go near bear's milk. In fact, don't find yourself in a situation where you're trying to drink bear's milk.
If you're hungry,
any other like interesting camping things? I mean, obviously, watch out for Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
He's actually a bear that has. He's learned how to be a human.
Yeah, he's learned how to be a human, and actually, honestly, conspiracy theory, he's the one setting the fires.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's the one setting the fires. He's like, oh yeah, watch out for fires, and they're like, what's that in your trunk? And he's like, nothing. It's just ash from the trees, not Ash Ketchum. Ash.
Wait, so in this situation, is he burying the
He collects
ash
it like trophies, like a serial killer.
Oh, okay. So I thought he was like putting the entire fire in his trunk.
He collects ash from every tree he's burned down.
Oh, wow.
Just a little bit, not the whole ash.
Okay, just a little bit.
A little bit, and it's like a serial killer's trophy.
Right, and I guess if if I were to open a trunk of Smokey the Bear's car and I saw a bunch of ash, I'd be like, "Oh, you're saving the environment." I wouldn't. I would
never catch him.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be like, "Smokey the Bear, what is this? This ash is clearly from 9 different trees."
What the hell is this, Smokey?
And then he just like
So you gotta watch
kills
out.
you and then burns you and throws you in there.
That's true. There's body ash in there too.
There's gotta be. He's a bear.
He's a Smokey the Bear.
Brett, watch out for bears, man.
Watch out for bears. Watch out for cave people.
Yeah.
They're a real thing, especially in the Appalachia. If you camp around there, there's people that live in the mountains. They live in the caves. They're pretty nice. Just offer them some milk.
Get the really gross Bear Grylls stuff out of the way. So go find like the most disgusting
Drink
bug.
your own pee.
Go find a bug that looks gross, eat it, and be like, "I need my vitamins and minerals."
Yeah, and be like, I'm in the wild.
It's been 4 days, and I need my vitamins and minerals.
I like the Bear Grylls thing because again,
He's also a bear.
yeah.
Oh my
that's true.
God!
Watch out
This
for that bear
conspiracy.
too.
Yeah, watch out for Bear Grylls.
Keep an eye out for him. He may be in the area.
It should
You
be
never
easy
know.
to spot him though. He's normally got a camera crew with him,
and
so
he's the one drinking his own pee and eating
without
ants.
even asking him to.
You know
He does that at his
You
house.
know the term "ants on a log"? He literally eats ants off a log.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's hardcore.
So I guess that's our advice.
Yeah.
Watch out for every variation of a bear.
Yeah, be prepared to handle any bear. In fact, go out and hunt bears. Don't camp.
Hunting bears is hard.
That is hard. Oh, of course, people say
I've tried to do it in Far Cry,
people say
the video
human-
game, and it's tough.
People say human is the most dangerous game. Like if you hunt another human, it's like, yeah, sure, if you gave them weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, have you tried to hunt a bear?
Because it can run really fast.
And guess what? You can shoot it and it won't stop.
It won't, because that's what happens
There
in the
are
video game.
plenty of recorded moments where a bear can. It's like a bullet sponge.
In Red Dead Redemption, also, like you
yeah.
try to shoot a bear, it's
my God.
going to take a lot.
It takes a lot of bullets, and that's if it doesn't maul you
you to
first.
death.
Yeah, we've seen
Takes you to
the
the mall.
Revenant. Yeah, Hugh
Yeah.
Glass in the Revenant. Yeah.
Takes you to the actual mall. It's like there's a food court. There's
On your left is Macy's. If you
Abercrombie
go
and
down,
Fitch. It
PacSun-
smells in there.
PacSun's running a sale right now.
Remember how dark those places were? Hollister,
Hollister
store.
was like a jungle. You're
like,
like,
hey, welcome to Hollister.
You're like parting ferns in a sales
You walk in there
associate
to
is-
buy some clothes. You walk out. You're like, I have no idea what I just bought.
It smells like 80 different types
Yeah.
of cologne because they're like, how do we get people to notice this?
Yeah,
But
I
like,
don't even know if I
the
ever
best
bought
part is like
anything
you
from
literally have to
Hollister.
push ferns out of the way, and then like a scary like I don't know, it just pops out. A sales associate is like, need help, and you're like, whoa, get the out of my face.
And they're always like shirtless, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
And
because
they're
they have
like-
to be models.
Yeah, and it's great too because I love how they display. It's like, oh, look at this outfit, and it's like a weird looking outfit, but it's on like this shredded model,
Yeah.
and you're like, I could be that.
And the outfit is
if I
also
put
like
this
ripped
on,
in half.
will I look like? Yeah, their jeans are like
Yeah.
hanging on.
It's like,
and
hi,
it's
would you like this piece of fabric? It's like, oh, okay.
$80,
I
please?
could have just made this myself. Also, this smells.
Yeah, Hollister was a scary place.
An American Eagle. That was another one.
American Eagle is way
was
easier
more
to
of a
handle than
preppy-
Hollister. Hollister was just, it was so dark,
Yeah.
so many plants. I didn't understand what was going on.
It was a scary place. And then there was Limited 2 for the ladies.
Limited 2, yeah.
Limited 2. Hot Topic. It still exists.
And Spencer's still exists.
Yeah, Spencer's and Hot Topic still exist. But Hot Topic used to be like, yeah, they would train. We've talked about it a little bit on the show, how like they'd train their employees to be like, welcome to Hot Topic, like go yourself.
Yeah.
And then like you'd be like, oh, I love this store.
Like you had to wear like Hot Topic items to even work there. Like you had to like dress the part.
Yeah, you
even if
did.
you weren't the part. It'd be someone peppy and they'd be like wearing.
I haven't ate in a mall food court in a long time. And those are magical places because they have every type of food. Like the one at Dulles.
It's an adult cafeteria. It's an adult cafeteria for
which
a
is
school.
Unbelievable because
Like-
it was like there's a pizza place, there's a Burger King, there's a Chinese place.
You have to ask
there's
if
a
people are
Chick-fil-A.
using that table and like
Oh,
you
yeah.
sit down and
It's always
everyone just
crowded.
like. It's like, and if you drop your tray, everyone looks.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You have an actual tray,
Yeah.
and you throw it away. Not the tray part. You recycle that, like the paper I invented.
Yeah, feed it through the printer.
But a food
It'll
court
suck
is
the
a
ink
great
right out
idea.
of the tray.
I definitely remember at one point going through the food court and getting like little bits from different restaurants that I liked, and then combining it into one meal. It was wonderful. So that was Brett, Michael, and Ricky, and that was the call center segment here on the Random Word podcast. Another episode in the books. We've got, wow, we're already over halfway through this season of the podcast. Next week, we are going to do a little special. I guess if you've listened all the way through this episode, we'll let you in on the secret because that means you're a real rando. Next week, medieval casts. We're going medieval.
We're going medieval.
It is going to be a
Renaissance?
medieval-themed
Yeah.
cast. We're talking... we won't give you all the details, but we got some special segments. Everything will be medieval-themed. And again, the two people that listen to these podcasts all the way through, now you know that's going to be next week's episode.
Yeah. Congratulations. Good afternoon. Good night.
Good afternoon.
Truman Show.
Hopefully at this
If
point...
I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Hopefully, if you when you download this, we'll hit 2,000. We'll celebrate that as well next week. And then besides that, we are a few episodes away from the season finale, the big quiz, where we will be quizzed on the various words that we have done to this point.
Feel free to play along, test your knowledge, test
sure.
your other friends'
make
knowledge.
some flashcards.
And guess what? The best part is we'll be listing off 40 definitions of words. So you will literally be able to walk into a room and be like, "Hey, Jim, what is a what?" I forgot what our word is. What's Grimalkin mean,
Grimalkin.
Jim? And he's like, "I don't know." Be like, "It's a cat, you idiot."
I was never good with flashcards because unless the test was in that exact order, my brain wouldn't remember it. It just wouldn't work because I would basically be memorizing the order that when the words were in
Interesting.
flashcards.
So instead of absorbing the material,
No.
you would just absorb the order.
yeah, pretty much. So it's like
Interesting.
unless it was in that
Wow,
order, my
man,
brain's
that's-
like,
that's
"You're
a
on your own,
crapshoot.
dude."
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, Salty Dalton, we're at the end of the show, so you have a phrase here to end this week's show on. Is that
I
correct?
got my phrase. You ready?
All right, let's turn things over to Salty Dalton, episode 36.
In the books.
What is the phrase?
What goes up must come down.
What goes up
Must
must
come down.
down.
It's poetic in a way.
Man, it's like balloons and
Yeah, definitely balloons. I guess they do come back down. Yeah.
and like a bear on its hind legs.
Yeah, before it comes down on your chest. Yeah.
Before it lets you just take
Bear
a little
comes up, bear comes down.
Sayonara, sweet suckers.
We out of here.